my Marvel MCU film, episode 22 MCU. God, I forgot the way I do the intro of these things. I am Mike Albertin, and who doesn't put mayo on a hot dog with me tonight?
Regular sized man, Michael K. Hughes.
And I'm Bill Tucker, and that's America's ass.
We have finally made it to Avengers Endgame, which really should be the end of this whole thing, but it's not.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
But Sony has to keep making Spider-Man movies to keep the license.
Yes, pretty much.
Is that basically it? Is that really just a contractual agreement?
Probably.
Yeah.
Far From Home, I feel like the reason why Far From Home and like No Way Home are so close together is because they only had the contract for so long, so they have to pump out what they can before they lose the contract. They can't sit on it like they do with like other movies. So,
yeah, it's the whole contract thing is weird. It's been well established how bizarre that whole madness is.
And how much we hate it.
Yeah, how much we despise it.
So this came out in 2019, and I have not seen Avengers Endgame since I saw it in theaters, like right the weekend it came out. I realized today or yesterday when I watched it. I had forgotten most of this movie. I didn't remember how they got back all the stones. I don't remember how they get the stones back.
It was kind of hazy for me too. It was, but it was only 2 years ago. That was so strange.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 2 years. It feels like 5 for some reason.
Seriously, yeah. Well, 2020 was 3 years packed into one. Let's be honest.
Enough trauma happened during that year, damn.
Seriously.
So I know we talked a lot about when we covered Infinity War, but like one thing about this movie is that it's where I feel I know I argued this before. I'm not going to go too much into it, but like I felt like Infinity War, isn't as can be viewed as a one movie, just they lose. This movie really you need to know because it's completely like a sequel to it. I mean, you really can't watch this without. I mean, I don't think you should watch without watching others because it just won't make any damn sense. They don't explain a whole lot.
They explain nothing. I mean, almost nothing. And Michael said it with Infinity War that this is really a companion movie. Like it's basically one long 6-hour movie chopped up into 2 pieces because no one's going to sit through a 6-hour movie. So
I sit through a 4-hour movie on HBO Max over the course of like a week.
Yeah, but that was Justice League. You were excited to watch that.
I don't know why, but yes, I was. So I have some complaints about this movie, about Endgame, but just we'll get into it as we progress through this conversation. As I said many times, I'm a big Hawkeye fan, but fuck Hawkeye in this movie.
Well, yeah, for personal reasons, for sure.
I don't like the character in this movie, but I know what they were going for. I just don't like it.
It was a weird choice to go for Ronan.
But Ronan also wasn't even Clint Barton at first in the comics. Plus, Ronan wasn't a murderer like that, I don't think.
You just don't like they had to make you choose when it came to the Soul Stone. You had to choose between him and Black Widow.
I'm still upset about that. I realized that when I watched this movie. I'm like, nah. Yeah, that's one of my issues. But I think that the way that this movie starts off is also it starts off very good to trick you and not lead you into like where you don't it starts off with Barton and his family and he's teaching the girl how to shoot a bow and arrow and it's very friendly and all of a sudden they're not there anymore. Gets really sad really fast.
It's heartbreaking. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Michael.
It's a very slow burn to the start of the movie. It doesn't really pick up until Scott enters the picture. But I guess you got to set that tone.
Over half an hour in, I think.
Something like that. This whole opening is so sad. There's no real music. There's just this. He's enjoying his family, a little picnic, showing his daughter how to shoot a bow and arrow. Cool. And just having your family literally disappear. I can't imagine how that must make anybody feel. It
makes you want to go kill everybody, right?
Yeah, it makes you want to go vigilante and just murder all the bad guys in the world, clearly.
It makes me... I don't care for this opening like this. Then you have the part with Tony and Nebula just sitting on the ruined ship. And I kept getting Star Trek vibes because I've been watching way too much Star Trek and Stargate in the last 6 months.
They really want to hammer home that the Avengers lost at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah, and they do a good job of that.
Yeah, they clearly lost.
I forgot Nebula even survived at the end of Infinity War.
I forgot what happened. So I was watching this bit. I'm like, how did they get stuck in this ship together? So I couldn't remember what happened in Infinity War that got them into space.
On Titan, everyone else got snapped except for the two of them. So I assume they just took the Milano. And Tony has in this little recording that they repurposed the something or other to make fuel, and now they're just dead in the water.
Gotcha. Okay, so it was kind of implied that this is how they, escaped, but now they're just adrift in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And that is so scary because the galaxy's very big, and you're very small compared to the galaxy.
As a guy who's been watching way too much space stuff, you'd be fucked. Yeah. Because nobody would, unless you have a distress signal, which they don't. I mean, the sheer luck that they have, the fact that Carol just happens to, fly by them because she's on her way because the pager from Infinity War took her a month to get there, or 14 days, or something like that. They've been gone.
Something like that. Yeah, I think, something along those lines. And even the line when he says he's talking to the broken Iron Man mask, which is just symbolism. Yeah, he's basically saying how they have literally a day's worth of oxygen left. So he's like, well, this is it. I'm going to rest my eyes and float away. And
my other question was, how did Carol save them? They have a day's left of oxygen. They probably didn't get there in a day, and then they would be dead. But
that's a very good point. It was the movie. A movie has to do movie things. But yes, like you said, Captain Marvel shows up like literal space Jesus and ferries them back to the Avengers compound.
Which was cool to see again.
Oh, yeah. She's so overpowered. It's just, she's not quite Scarlet Witch. I don't know. And we'll talk about Scarlet Witch in about probably 2.5 hours at the rate the show's going to go.
The one scene she's in.
The one scene she's in. I'm not going to say it now, but man alive, I am such a Scarlet Witch fan now after WandaVision. I am super into her. I am like Team Scarlet Witch. Bend things with your magic. I don't care. It's all good.
Yeah, I would say Captain Marvel's probably on the. It's hard to say at the same power level because they're completely different type of powers.
Right.
But Captain Marvel is one of the most powerful characters in the MCU, hands down.
Oh yeah, it's pretty great. So she speeds them to the Avengers facility. Hooray!
I like her whole intro. It's all cool, and and then you get that little scene also here when Carol Danvers does land and they're talking, which is from, I think, Infinity War had that teaser with her in it, or that was Ant-Man, wasn't it, or Marvel? God, one of those movies had a teaser at the end, which was a scene from this movie.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah.
There's one where she shows up when the pager turns off asking where Fury is.
Yes. I think that was the Captain Marvel movie.
Which would have taken place before this whole thing. So she'd been to Earth already before she went out and found Tony, I guess.
Isn't this the first... Or is that a scene that just wasn't used, maybe?
Could be.
I can't remember if they make it. I wasn't paying enough attention because I'd forgotten about that scene till just now to see if they say something about who are you or if they already knew her or not. I think they just met her because I know when Thor sees her, he pulls the axe and it goes right. It flies by her head and he's like, "I like her."
Yeah, and Rhodey calls her New Girl, so she hasn't been there long.
Right. Yeah, I think half of them probably haven't met her yet, or have they? I don't remember.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, and so she just shows up like, yeah, let's go get Thanos. Like, okay, he's sitting there someplace. Let's just do it. Why are we sitting around here? I'm Captain Marvel. I'm sure I can handle Thanos. I also like when Tony Stark, he has his little freak out. That's a good bit of acting from Robert Downey Jr. Kind of just a little bit of a freak out. He was in space for 22 days and he was about to die, and he is still livid with Captain America and his optimism, so
they do a really good job making him look real emaciated too after being adrift for 3 weeks. It's horrifying to see.
It's so scary. I mean, I don't know if that was all CG. I assume that was all CG.
Had to have been
trickery, but yeah, just emaciated, like you said, and just haggard. His beard's all full of gray in there now, and it's just, he's not in good shape. Yeah, so
motor functions are all over the place because he's knocking stuff over and he's falling and
just hard to watch. And of course, Cap he's feeling it's the things he is saying is really hitting Captain America, just really hitting him hard. And because Cap knows they lost. And that was it. They lost, and it's kind of over. But Nebula lets them know, hey, I know where Thanos is. Clearly.
So, yeah, they do this whole thing. Is like he goes to the garden, and then Rocket's like, well, we saw this energy, and then we saw it on this planet. So they already knew where he was.
I know. They're all kind of like, oh, where could he possibly be? And it's like, and Rocket's basically like, hey, let's look at the sensors, because the sensors just told us exactly where he is.
Like, screw you, Nebula. We don't need your vague directions.
We don't need your vagaries. So they decide, and I at that moment with Thor. Well, was it Thor? Yes, it is Thor. When Thor basically kind of goes to her and like, I like this one, because she's just like, let's do it. And of course, he's the one who didn't land the killing blow that would have stopped all of this in the first place or prevented it. And that's it.
Yeah. Or someone kind of motions to Thor sitting in the next room over. It's like, what's with him? And Rocket's like, he's pissed. He thinks he's failed. But I guess there's a lot of that going around.
Right. They all should be, pissed at what's going on here. Obviously, this is just they failed miserably, and half of the and I forgot this is too. It's not just half of the population; it's half of the world's living creatures.
Yes, universe.
Yeah,
universe rather. Yeah, sorry, the universe is gone. So the deer and the doggos and the cats, they're all
the birds. There's a scene where the birds start chirping, which didn't click to me when I saw this years ago, but clicked. We'll talk about later, but clicked in this one.
Me too. Same.
And like with Thor, the reason why he's so upset because he blames himself for losing, because in Infinity War he goes for the heart and doesn't go for the head because he doesn't try to kill him.
Should have went for the arm like he does here in a minute.
Yeah, I would have made him. Why not just do? Yeah. Would have solved the problem.
It would have, but he has failed. So we get the title. The title of the movie.
I didn't even catch that.
Let's go. No, yeah. The title of the movie is right after they decide to go and get Thanos. Okay,
I really like this part a lot. One, because like as they see Thanos' planet and they kind of come up there and they show Thanos just running in his little hut. You see a Scarecrow with his armor on. That is a scene from the comics of the original Infinity Gauntlet miniseries. But in the miniseries, he got in the Gauntlet won, and they took it away from him, reversed what happened, and then they banished him to a little planet type of thing, or something of that nature, if I remember correctly. And then he puts it on a Scarecrow. But it's been a long time since I read Infinity Gauntlet. But that's a straight up reference to comic. And I love that.
We talked about emaciated Tony being uncomfortable. The way the Gauntlet's like fused to his hand now after he's used it twice is real gross looking.
Yeah, everything about him, even his face is all kind of, weathered on the one side where the Gauntlet lives. So he's clearly, but I really like retirement Thanos. I just like him pottering around his garden, plucking weird space pineapples, and he's cooking. He's got a little dash of salt. I do that when I make my eggs. A little dash of salt. It's great. He's just living his best life. And again, this is what's so good about Thanos. He's not on a throne with 18 servants and armies around him. He's just, job was done. I'm going to now retire to my garden, and I'm going to cultivate land and live off the land, and just kind of, that's it. Of course, his little respite is rudely interrupted by who comes
Carol.
in.
Carol shoots him through the wall, and then Rhodey comes up out of the ground, or him or Bruce. Someone might have been
Bruce.
The Hulkbuster armor.
Which really threw me off for a second when I saw it. I'm like, what the fuck? And then until they show Mark Ruffalo inside, I'm like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, we watched Infinity War. Well, at the time you would have seen Infinity War been a year ago. We watched Infinity War a few months ago. But yeah, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah. And it's one of two times in this movie you see Mark Ruffalo, but we'll talk about how they ruined the Hulk later on.
It is a cool fight scene, and you get to see, and I like the fact that Thor just comes immediately and just takes off his arm to cut the gauntlet off, and then when they come to the realization of what happened, and Thanos is like, "Yeah, I destroyed the stones. The temptation was too much." That's something else. That's such a scene, when you just. I think it's after he says that he starts talking that there is no way to fix it, that Thor just beheads him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a such a powerful scene because they're so defeated. This is even worse than Infinity War because they realize that there is no way to fix what happened. There's nothing they can do. And I don't remember if it's on the way here, when Cap makes the comment where he's like, I have to, this has to work because I don't know if it can't.
Natasha says that this is going to work. He says it's going to have to because I don't know what we're going to do if it doesn't.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's so that the Thanos head shop is so sudden, like it's out of nowhere, and it just happens. It's even a little grisly too. Blood splurts up on Nebula, and it's a pretty, for a Marvel movie, pretty grisly beheading. So, and even later you get a little better angle of what happened. Ooh. And that's it. Thor's done. He's got his revenge, and he just walks off into the sunset.
It's his one-liner of "I went for the head."
I went for the head. That was the end of it.
A little too late, though.
And there's no joy in this. And you mentioned, Mike, that this is like a fight. It's not a fight. They just beat the hell out of him. They show up. They beat the hell out of him. He doesn't fight back. Again, he's retired. He's like, come on. Could you? No, but he doesn't even say that. He understands what's going to happen, right? He understands that he's not going to escape this. And I like that line, too, when he says to Nebula, because Nebula says, if anything, he's not a liar. And he's, thank you, daughter. He appreciates that Nebula understands that he's not going to lie about that sort of thing. That's not who he is. That's not his nature. That's not his character. Good stuff. Good stuff. But very sad because, hey, you beat Thanos. We've all been waiting for this. Yay.
Yeah, because it's not
the hollowest of victories.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. And because it's you, but you still didn't win. Like, just because you killed Thanos doesn't mean you won, because half the universe is still dusted. So,
and this is then you have the 5 year later scene comes, or this little thing comes across the thing that says 5 years later. I forget what year this is supposed to be taking place in now.
I don't know.
2023, I think.
Sounds about right. Yeah, 2023. Okay. Yeah, 2023. It's just, which I find interesting too, how they kind of like try to like pair up with real life, would be a little bit ahead, and all the movies kind of like jump around different times. But like the way that it comes, because this is also about half an hour into the movie when you get this part. I think it's either half an hour or 20 minutes, because I know I was checking the time stamps for certain events to see just how far they were in. And this is the part where you see like a building. It reminds me like a counseling meeting, like Alcohol Anonymous, something of that nature. And you have Chris Evans or Captain America sitting there talking with just some random people about how they're dealing with what happened with the blip, and it's been 5 years since everybody disappeared. Is it the blip, or is it the blip never come back?
I don't know. Far From Home is kind of, they keep referring to the blip, but I think it's just like the whole thing. I think it's just the snap one that makes them disappear. So maybe the blips when they come back.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I got him wrong.
Right, yeah, because I think in Winter Soldier they refer to it as the blip as well when everyone returns.
Yeah, it's the snap where everybody goes away, and they're dealing with the snap, and it's such a sad little scene. Like, it really hit me this time. I'm just like, this has its moments.
Yeah, or the guy's talking about his date, and he said he cried when they brought the salads, and I cried right before dessert. Like,
golly, that's just knives after knives. And isn't it the director who does that part? One of the Russo brothers? Yeah.
That's one of the Russos.
Cool. Okay, I wasn't sure. And I love how Captain America, even 5 years later, is still trying to help. He can't do anything cosmically. He can't. There's no giant, Hydra or anything to go after. So I'm just going to try to help one person at a time, because that's his nature. He cannot not help people and be a hero. So he'll lead a support group for people who are still struggling with the snap. So sad. Just
really like that though.
They have that slow kind of camera, kind of like not camera. Of course, it's a camera. This is a movie, silly. Of course, it's a camera shot. That slow kind of like it's not a pan, but whatever it's called, where you kind of see City Field in New York completely empty and decrepit. I love that you see the Statue of Liberty, but it's now a port, because clearly they need to make a makeshift port out of something. So
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, it's pretty striking when they show kind of New York, what it is. And it's still 5 years. Like, after 5 years, you would think people are, you think
you would start to get things together after 5 years, even if you lost half your population. But I guess the world would crumble so much of it because everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what government? Even like Carol says, these governments are in shambles. They're just still a problem. So, It's good though. It's crazy sad.
It's not I didn't like it. Not that it was bad, just I didn't like it. But
It's hard
and
to
then
see.
this is when you jump into initial San Francisco, and this part is funny, where you see the van is in, where Ant-Man went to the end of Ant-Man the Wasp movie, and then you see the rat activates the van, which ends up, shooting Scott Lang out, and that's still hilarious.
It's the ultimate Deus Ex Machina. Is
Oh
that
my
one
God.
rat?
It's a little dumb. I mean, let's be honest here. It's pretty happenstance, but you're right. Again, it's kind of a movie thing, or just we gotta move it along. And
I love how he puts the sign up and says, "Help me."
Oh, and the actor who plays the security guard is Ken Jeong, famously from the Hangover movie.
Yeah.
And of course, go ahead.
He's even Parks and Rec too, right?
Yep, he's in Parks and Rec. Yeah, pretty sure.
Which
And,
makes sense because these directors did a lot of that.
Oh, okay. That does make sense then. And one of my favorite things is also he's one of the judges on The Masked Singer, which my family we're just a bunch of cornballs because we're now officially suburban people. So we watch The Masked Singer, and he's one of the judges. And nifty little tidbit, he is reading, because I did look this up, because whenever someone's reading a book in a Marvel movie, I look it up to see if there's a hidden meaning. Sure enough, there was. He's reading a book called Terminal Beach. It's a collection of short stories by J.G. Ballard. And the first story in that collection is called Endgame. So that's it. People can't read. People can't read without there being a hidden meaning in Marvel movies. So,
well, no, just in movies in general, I feel like if you're going to put a book or put something there, you're going to put there for a reason.
yeah, a little Easter egg there. So that's my
funny.
Easter egg. That's my Easter egg for the show. The entire
I
show.
really like the scene with Scott Lang walking down the street, and you just see like a crashed car, garbage everywhere, and he asks the kid what happened. The kid just ignores him and rides off. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, like you said earlier, 5 years, you think they would have gotten like somewhat back to normal, at least some like stuff like that would have been cleaned up. But
I guess if you think about it, if half the universe is gone, between then and now is only 5 years. So what?
Yeah.
Anybody born at that time is now only 5 years old. So you literally have half the people available to do the basic things that we require. Everything that we have for our daily lives requires man/woman power. So, or people power. So I guess that makes sense, right? Listen, the garbage on the ground is gonna have to deal because we gotta make the power plants work. So.
They probably shrunk down communities too. It's instead of having people so spaced out, like a lot of these places, even if they're doing like trash collection, a lot of these abandoned places they probably wouldn't even bother with yet.
Right. Yeah. Right. Half the homes are probably vacated. It's a scary, scary thought, man. It really is. I don't like this at all.
no, it's not a happy beginning to this movie. Like it is really tough.
We're half an hour in. Like, there's no joy to be found in this thus far. So
At least
like
they're
when
in zombies too. It's not The Last of Us.
It
right.
ain't that bad, no. Whew, that's an opening that hits you right in the face.
Yeah.
Whew, played that game once. Have never went back to it.
No, I don't have a need to either, honestly. And I own the second one, and I have not popped it in yet. And
You might not want to do that.
I don't know.
It's pretty depressing for what I've heard. I know how the game goes. It's pretty depressing.
I don't mind that stuff, but I don't know.
you
You gotta
don't.
be in the right state of mind.
And like the part where Scott Lang goes to the memorial and he sees all the different names and he's looking for his daughter's name and he sees his own name, like that's another part that just keeps hitting you.
Yeah, because as far as everyone else knows, he disappeared at the same time with everyone else. So
It would be logical. Logical. So he he doesn't see her name, so he runs to I guess he knows where she lives.
What's it? The mother's house. He goes there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He goes to the mom's house. You're right. And there she is, all grown up. And it's a very touching moment.
They're setting up the Young Avengers.
Oh yeah, with Stature or Stinger, one of the two.
Wait, what?
She becomes.
Oh yeah, she's a hero too.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't just let people be people. They all gotta have costumes. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Oh, there are no side characters in Marvel movies. Everybody's someone.
Everybody is someone at some point. If you have lines, you are eventually a person of interest.
If you have a full name, you were probably a hero at some point or a villain.
Oh, well, if you're a villain, then your name rhymes or begins with the same letter, right? So then you know that person's villainous. That's how it kind of works, right?
I think in Homecoming, when you see the news anchors on the school news, I think one of them's Dagger and the other one's the Prowler.
Oh,
So
so
like
everything.
everyone's someone.
Everyone's got to be something. Come on, let's just people be people. All right. Anyway, it just annoyed me for some reason. She
Yeah, no,
becomes a
because you
thing.
didn't know. Yeah, that's
I
what.
know.
That's one of the comments you'll see online a lot at this time is that they're setting up the Young Avengers because her and other characters that have been in all the other stuff since then is they're setting it up because they got to do something eventually.
Yeah, because we're getting Kate Bishop and Miss Marvel both coming through Disney Plus series.
Oh, that's right. Wow, more series. Okay, I'll talk about one of the series later on because I think it's interesting how it all kind of sort of tied together. Anyway,
And then after you see them together, then it jumps to Black Widow doing like the little where she's running at the Avengers headquarters and talking to the hologram, which reminds me of Winter Soldier and Shield. And this is a cool scene where they're like people think that there's one point where the girl from Walking Dead, I can't remember her name, the actress or the character, makes a comment about there being an earthquake in the sea, but we're not going to do anything about it. And people think that's a reference to Namor.
Huh.
I doubt that, but I just wanted to put that out there.
No one likes Namor.
I don't think they even own the rights to Namor, to be honest. So
No, well they do now. I think it's lumped in with the Fantastic Four.
okay, but yeah, that's there. Otherwise, there's nothing really too important happens there. But you see Carol Danvers' new haircut, and you just have like a little, her kind of like you see how Black Widow is not really, she's not really okay. Okay, yeah, they do own Namor again now.
I like when she's crying and Steve comes in. He's like, "I'd offer to cook you dinner, but you look pretty miserable already."
Good line. It's a good line for sure.
And she has a sandwich she's eating. And he's like, I just like it. I love their interaction together.
Yeah, this is a whole good scene between them. He's like, "I saw a pot of whales on the way over here," and she's gonna be like, "If you're telling me this is all, look on the bright side, you're gonna get hit with a peanut butter sandwich."
Really good.
I love this actor so much. This is why this movie upset me too sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't get her anymore.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Nope. Okay, and this is when and during the little briefing is when somebody tells Black Widow about Barton, but I can't remember what I put. War Machine.
It's Rhodey, yeah. He says he's in Mexico and a bunch of cartel guys were all decimated basically. Like it's Barton.
It makes me not like him in this movie a lot. I don't like where they went with Barton at all.
I thought I wasn't sure who he was talking about. I kind of assumed because of her reaction. I kind of forgot about Barton. I thought it was Hulk, like Hulk just rampaging around. That's what I thought initially, and then of course clearly it was Hawkeye because Hulk can't wield the sword. Like, oh, okay. Well, who else haven't I seen that could do this? Okay, and I don't think we get there quite yet. I'll talk about that scene when we get there, but yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was Hulk. So
makes sense though. I mean, Hulk is someone that blows off the handle. You wouldn't think Hawkeye would be someone that just becomes crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Punisher take on Hawkeye in this. It just bugs me. I mean, like I accept it with Punisher because of Punisher, because his family gets killed and the government won't do anything. The authorities don't step in. He was a cop, and I'm okay with like the whole idea of the Punisher, but with this guy, his family disappears because of a giant alien. So his solution is I'm going to kill everyone that's evil, that commits crime because my family died and they didn't die. Like,
oh yeah, that's what he says. Is he tells the Yakuza guy later on in Japan, he's like, "You survived, they didn't. They got Thanos, and you get me."
I don't like it. I just feel like it's not good.
I think it's just meant to show like the toughness of the situation, that someone like a family man like Barton can fly off the handle. Like it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he's got no one to live for. He's got no else.
He lost everything except
he lost literally everything.
Avengers.
Yeah, so forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to save the world my own way.
I just don't like it. Maybe because I like Hawkeye in general, and I don't like what they did with it. That might be part of the problem here. And hey, this is when you get the first like lighthearted part of the entire movie that up to this point is Scott Lang banging on the door saying, "It's me, for Scott. Remember I saw you at the airport."
I had a mask on. You might not recognize me.
I enjoy that, like that. And then I like how Captain America's like, "When was this?" She's like, "That's live." I mean, he goes in the whole thing talking about how the quantum realm works and how he was able to travel through time essentially because time is different.
Yeah, because it's been 5 years for them. He says for him it's like 5 hours in the quantum realm.
Which I don't understand how that works, but hey, science.
It's time. No one knows how time works, so it's.
You know,
fine.
I'm more okay with this version of time travel than going around the sun counterclockwise to reverse time to go save whales. I'm more okay with this.
I
You got that reference.
I did. I got the reference. I'll leave for anybody else who didn't. So I do like this. I think it's. I'm so glad he shows up. We need you, Paul Rudd. Please lighten the mood, Scooch. He actually has an answer. You know, he's Stark. I think no, that's not Stark just yet. But what could we control it? I started getting Loki vibes. All the Loki vibes.
There's
and I think
a couple lines in this movie
branching
that are straight up Loki stuff.
Really enjoyed it.
Like there's one about trimming the timelines. Later on, somebody says something about if we did this, you had multiple timelines, you need to trim them or something. Like there's references that made me laugh.
Yeah, it just made me really happy when I had that, because again I just saw Loki and I really enjoyed it. So the show rather, it's good.
You should. It's the best of the three so far.
I don't know best, but we're not going to get in this conversation.
No,
but
it's my favorite of the three. We'll say that.
I really enjoyed it. We got into it pretty hard.
We will at some point. So, and this is when they then go to Tony, because now that they have a plan of how they can, fix things, because they're like, okay, we can go back in time. We can go get the stones before Thanos did and then re-snap everybody back. And this is when they go to Tony, and you see Tony's completely different than who he was back then. He's nowhere near the type of character that you had before. He's, has a daughter now. You see him with his daughter who's wearing an Iron Man helmet, which can't be safe. And like and then when he sees him, he wants nothing to do with him at first. He's like, we're not talking about what happened. We're not. I'm done. I'm retired.
It's not an Iron Man helmet. It's the rescue helmet. How dare you?
Yeah. It can't be safe to her wear that though. I feel. Like.
No, probably not. The helmet's probably fine. If she had an actual blaster on, then
she has the fake little blaster on, which was cute. The glove with the little like flashlight thing on.
It's just like identify lunch or be disintegrated.
It was funny.
It's really good.
It's a cute little scene, and again, I mean, they're as spoilers for this movie. They're foreshadowing things that are coming. Like Age of Ultron foreshadowed, Hawkeye dying, but then they didn't follow through with that, unfortunately.
Guess not.
Age of Ultron foreshadowed the name Endgame, because Tony says that he points up. He says that out there, that's the Endgame.
Yep, he sure does.
And in Infinity War, they say it too. We're the Endgame now.
Doctor Strange, I think, says it at some point.
Because back when this movie was coming out, one of the jokes they were saying, they were like, "Yep, the line of this name of the movie is in Infinity War," and people couldn't. I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, there's a random information. Yep, and it's a good scene though. I mean, I like how how he doesn't really want anything to do with them. He doesn't want to go back. He's like, "We lost. We're done. I moved on," and he's so worried about if they bring back the gauntlet, if they were able to do this, that he would lose what he had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also really powerful.
Yeah, he found a family. He's now settled in. He's living in the woods, in a cabin. He's not living in his lap of luxury crazy compound. So, and he's very happy with the simple life that he has with his daughter and with Pepper. So,
yeah, we even say that he and Pepper got married at some point, because Scott says you have a wife now and a daughter. So,
yeah, he's discovered the simple things in life can be the most fulfilling, and he's done with adventuring. He's like, you know what? I don't want to risk losing what I have. I found what I need, and I'm not going to risk gallivanting around the galaxy trying to stop Thanos or whatever, or try to fix this with your crazy Back to the Future time travel idea. That's not gonna. It's not gonna happen.
Hey, until he sees a picture of Peter Parker, and then everything doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the first things he says to Cap when he comes back from space is, "I lost the kid."
Yeah.
And Cap's been like, "Who?" I don't think Cap even knew Spider-Man was there, so.
No, well, he knew I probably didn't know he was there, yeah.
He even knew who he was.
No,
I always found that kind of like... I don't like the relationship with Peter Parker and Tony Stark in these movies at all. I just don't like it.
I think it's very good. I do like it. I like that kind of reluctant mentor, and I think we've talked about it before. But the reluctant mentor, and it really affected him. He's a kid, We'll
talk about it again.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Is there Is there a lot of that in Far From
There's
Home?
a decent amount.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause you never seen Far From Home, right?
No, I
No.
haven't. So do you not get your Spider-Man movie, Michael?
Oh no, it's enough to set up the whole plot of that movie.
Yeah. We'll get there soon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure.
And since Tony turned him down, this is when they go to meet Hulk for the first time.
Okay, I'll let Michael take this one on.
Yes.
It
So
is.
you had opinions, Mike, about this Hulk.
The neutered Hulk. It's like Hulk's supposed to be this mindless killing machine, but they're like, oh, we need Banner for this, but we need the Hulk too, so we're just gonna make him the same person. Which Professor Hulk was a character in the comics, but I don't like the way they did it. It's dopey.
Is it me or was there a lot of Uncanny Valley with him this time around?
Oh yeah.
A lot. I didn't like it either. I want my old Hulk back. I think the duality is so interesting, and when you combine that, it's just not as interesting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I like troubled, tragic, angry Hulk. Dabbing, selfie taker is not.
Oh man, this is the first scene too that I was just like, oh my god, joke is so dumb when trying to get the kids to take the picture with Ant-Man and just goes on for entirely too long. It felt like Ragnarok all over again.
I won't argue with that.
It went on forever, and I don't know. I just didn't connect with it very well throughout this whole movie, and I got used to it, but I never really enjoyed it. And this scene is very cringy. Like there's lots of cringe in this.
And it seems like every scene like that, it's either Hulk or Thor. It's like they can't shake those Ragnarok vibes.
Yeah, they really can't. They really can't.
And that kid that won't take a picture with Hulk, with Ant-Man, that's the nephew of the director.
Oh, okay.
So it looks right at the camera at one point.
Nice. Yeah. At least he doesn't point to his crotch like the kid in Back to the Future 3.
That's good.
The diner scene is kind of dumb. I mean, I like it up until that point with the joke. Then I don't like it when the joke just doesn't end for no reason.
Yeah.
That's me. That's stupid. That didn't need to be in the movie. But this is whole them trying to figure out, like, because since Tony turned down, they're trying to get Hulk, who's now Smart Hulk, to see if he can figure out what they're trying to do, if he can make it work.
Yeah, I like the Hulk says that it's outside of his area of expertise, which, yeah, pretty much.
Basically, yeah, he's just kind of not what I do, fellas. You want to talk to that Stark guy? Like he'd probably be more equipped. Oh, okay. I guess not. So I'll just go back to eating my breakfast and getting on Instagram with a bunch of preteens. Yeah, that's still it's still annoying.
Yeah.
All right.
This is when you have then Tony doing the dishes when he's running the theories in his head. Like, I made the joke before where he sees the picture of Peter Parker and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go save the kid," and he makes a time machine somehow.
I didn't see it this way. I didn't see it as him. I think this kind of sparked like, oh, there is someone to fight for. But
okay, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, like there are people to fight for. I kind of saved the kid, but I should try for the benefit of others because that's who I am. And then you go right to him with his daughter. Because then he discovers, oh, that's right. Because then he's fiddling around, and his brain, as a genius, won't let it go. It's great. It's so interesting because he's just, let me just fiddle with this. Mobius strip. Remove this thing, and then it smacks him in the face. Oh my God, this is possible.
I love this interaction with him and Morgan. He's just like, shit. And she's like, shit. So, oh no, only mommy's allowed to say that. What are you doing up? Because I got some serious shit going on.
It is funny.
The face she gives him, I love it.
It's great.
The girl's adorable.
She's great. And the moment that he's putting her to bed, they take time with this. And that I really do like these directors because they'll take the time to really cement themes and establish character. And this is all, of course, foreshadowing and trying to make you really feel for Tony. He's in this great place. He's a great dad. He's caring for his daughter. He's got it. Like he's got everything you really need in life. And when spoiler alert, please watch this movie before listening to this podcast. Spoilers abound. When he finally bites the dust, that's it. It's so painful because you know what he's losing. And you know what everyone else is losing. Good stuff. I'm a fan.
I wasn't upset when he dies, but we'll get there. And this is when you had them go to they're at the Avengers HQ and they're trying to test. And this made me laugh when they're like, okay, before we do this, we have to test it out. And they're sending Ant-Man back in time. But when they send him back and they bring him back, but they bring back, I think, baby Ant-Man or
The teenage first.
okay. And then baby, then old man or something.
Yeah, teenage, then old, then baby. Because baby, of course, you're gonna do a joke. You gotta do it in threes, and baby, of course, is the funniest of the three. So we gotta do baby in three.
That makes sense.
Got the good line of someone peed my pants. I don't know if it was old me or baby me or just me.
Scott's so good. He's so required in this movie. He really does add so much this light and levity to it. Yeah, and again, I wrote here again, not sure if I like laid back Professor Hulk. I just don't. Again, why can't we just have Bruce be Bruce? And then
it seems unnecessary.
Then switch gears when you need to go mental. I mean, I don't understand why you have to have this all combined. I don't know. And he still looks strange. Just again, the Uncanny Valley is.
I think it's because they tried to make the Hulk look more like Mark Ruffalo, more like Banner, than just being its own face.
Sure. Yeah, that definitely could be the case. So they could see why they do that too.
It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, I liked it, but I see your complaints.
But we cut to the Avengers headquarters. Tony arrives driving as fast as humanly possible because that's what he does. I think it's an Acura. There's a lot of Acuras in this movie. Oh, actually, just I think a couple. So I'm sorry, Audi. I think it was an Audi.
Yeah.
I always look at the car types because I want to see where the sponsors are. He's here to save the day. He kind of predicts that he would turn into a baby.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Like his explanation of instead of moving him through time, you move time through him.
Yeah.
Oh,
good. That's good.
That.
Yeah.
And when he gives him the shield, though, like that is such a profound moment because he hasn't had it since Civil War, which was a while ago at this point. Long fucking time at this point. So that's such a powerful scene too. I feel it when he gives him that. I really like that. You're like, well, my dad made this for you, and he gives him the shield.
I need to get out of the garage before Morgan takes it sledding.
Yeah, that was funny too.
Yeah, it's real good. So so he's here to save the day. I like when Scott meets the balance of the Avengers. I think they're all coming back to the headquarters and ruining his poor taco.
That was funny, and they're like, and then he's like, "There's some idiot in the landing zone."
This is my opening line where Rhodey comes in, just like crashes right next to him. He's like, "Hey, regular size man." He's still a little bitter about Civil War, apparently.
A little bit.
Well, he did get paralyzed in Civil War, so
yeah.
I guess you would get a little salty after an event like that.
I mean, like they don't like it's it happens, and then they fixed it sort of, but it comes to play later in this movie too, where you see the fact that he's still paralyzed. Like just because he's okay most of the time, he's paralyzed. So yeah, you're probably a little mad about this though.
I can see that. But then we go to New Asgard, and here is where I'll sigh. I'll do a Michael sigh.
No, I'm sighing with you. This is dumb.
Don't like this at all.
I'm okay.
We get to see Valkyrie again. That's always fun.
Yeah, that was cool. I really like her.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything stupid in this movie.
No,
doesn't really do anything in this movie.
She has a good line. She has a good line where she goes to Hulk. She says, "I like old you better." Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah,
I do too, Valkyrie. Good call.
She said, "I would have preferred you either of the other two ways," something like that. So, me too.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. High five. I'm with you. And we meet. I don't know how to say. I wrote down as shorthand Fat Thor, but I don't like that term because
I don't call it Fat Thor. I call it Press Thor.
It's the Big Thorbowski.
Big. There is a Big Lebowski reference in this movie.
But there is music. I forgot to mention this because I wasn't paying attention enough. I forget what the song was, but there was music playing as Hulk and Rocket are in the back of the truck going to New Asgard, and I remember wanting to write that down because of the music. I liked it. Whatever it was, I remember enjoying that little part.
I don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember it. How was he referred to?
I call him the Press Thor, but Mike's right, the Big Lebowski Thor. They make that joke, but that's just kind of something that. Because, again, I feel like that's what this whole thing is about with Thor, is that he's depressed because he has the guilt of not killing Thanos when he had the chance all those, years ago at this point, and he's not able to deal with the fact that they failed and couldn't resurrect everybody because of his fault, the way he sees it. And that's how I take it, because he's become an alcoholic. He's just drinking all the time. He can't, drunk. He's just sitting there. He's completely became just, consumed himself with guilt. That's all That's all I always take this scene now.
He should have been the Ronin one. He should have been out there taking out bad guys, just angry instead of whatever this is.
I didn't like it when I saw it in theaters. I didn't like all the jokes that surround it. But fat Thor, like it's a. I feel like the movie shouldn't have done it, but they again. I mean, I look at it better now. I'm like, okay, they're just trying to show depression and show what happened to him, but
it's played for comedy, and that's the problem. Mm-hmm. It's making fun at the expense of his size, and maybe this is me just being a little more sensitive, I guess. But it's extraordinarily sad. Like this to me hits like, oh god, he had this amazing, force of power, and now he's just wasting away. I don't like the fact that they're playing video games, and that's a symbol for just wasting time, right? Playing
not just video games; they're playing Fortnite,
right? although we get the Rock Man, whose name I can't remember. He's great. Korg. Yeah. He's so good. Welcome back.
Director from Thor Ragnarok is the voiceover for that.
Yes, he is. He does a really good job. He's cracking beers against Stormbreaker. I mean, it's just like. It's really sad, but again, it's played for laughs. Like you're supposed to chuckle at depressed Thor, and man, it's not funny, and it really does smack of the kind of joke you would have made 10 years ago. It doesn't seem like a modern movie would go that route, but they did, and I just don't love it. Does anyone know how they made Chris Hemsworth so, give him that body? Like, is that trickery, or I doubt he did that himself?
It's probably some kind of fat suit.
Yeah, something of that nature. But yeah, clearly he's hurting, especially when Hulk mentions they can beat Thanos, and that cuts to his heart through all the alcohol. And it's a good acting moment too. Chris Hemsworth is a very good actor.
He kind of breaks down. He's like, "Don't say that name."
And then Korg, we don't say that name in this house. Something like that.
So good. Good old Korg. Love him. And his little creature friend.
It's a good scene. I like it more than I did, I think, the first time. I don't know.
It's him spouting off about fixing the cable and...
Yeah, but that's... I don't know. It didn't bother me this time.
It's masking, right? Clearly he's putting on brave fronts. Clearly he's anesthetizing, is that a word? He's dulling pain through being slovenly and through drinking and through just wasting time, right? When he could be doing something good for humanity. He's chosen to just wallow. He even says it. He's like, I'm sure you came in here watching me wallow in self-pity. It's like, well, kinda, yeah. But there's also a deeper meaning there. He is just crushed by what he was unable to do, and this is just how he's dealing with it. And people deal with trauma in bad ways, and not everybody does so in good ways. But the fact that it's played for comedy was annoying. It was not annoying. It was a little upsetting. Like, ugh, really? Is this the route we're going to take with this? Because this is not fun and funny,
The one joke I do like that came out of this scene was what the internet makes a joke, where how they're playing PS4 because the PS5 is still hard to find.
Oh yeah,
I like that joke.
That's a pretty good joke.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah, that's the only joke
even 5 years later, they're still hard to find.
Yeah, it's a good one. A good joke. I like the I'm just saying, and I was just going to say that. Again, this just feels like a very 2010 kind of scene.
Yes.
It's very tone deaf.
That's one of my problems with it too.
Yeah, but Rocket gets him on the ship because he says there's beer there. There you go. That'll work.
Because he needs beer to function.
I do like his response of what kind.
That's good.
Well, like you're picky, dude.
I like he's a bit of a connoisseur. He's like, is this a hazy IPA, or are we talking like some Budweiser? Because if that's
better
the case,
not be Coors Light.
Yeah, I hope it's not a Natty Light or anything. I want to give me some gooder stuff.
Natural Ice isn't so bad after you get through the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
I had a phase where I drank a lot of Natural Ice, so it's terrible at first, but you get a few down and you're okay. It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, please. Anything is good after a few. Paint thinner. Anything, please.
Yeah, I know. That's a joke.
But, I'm kidding. But now we go back to... now
Ronan.
Yeah.
Ronan killing people makes me go, why is he not arrested and tried for murder in this movie? But,
the cops probably can't coordinate.
Yeah,
what little police force is left.
It's just not a... Yeah, because this is when you see him killing... You mentioned earlier where he's killing the... Yakuza, and then he makes the comment about, like you said earlier, and I just don't care for this part. I just don't care for everything they did with him. That's all.
He's basically taken it the way that I figure Thor should have taken it. It's just go out there and act out your aggression.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he didn't screw up or anything. He's just angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just mad. He's just taking it out on the bad guys of the world and just he's being proactive as opposed to reactive. Yeah, that's fine.
It's just not my. And then
It's not
this
the
is
character
when,
you like, yeah.
Yeah, and Black Widow recruits him, and I like how he's one like, don't give me hope, and I'm just like, they didn't need him. I also don't like what happens in this movie because of him, so there's that too.
Indeed.
I'm a big fan of Hawkeye as a character, not in the MCU.
Interesting. I again, as you know, I grew to like him as the movies went on. So.
You didn't read the comic, bro.
The Matt Fraction run.
Yes, that will never. Yeah, that episode.
It's rough.
Mm-hmm. That's a rough comic. Rough
Good,
comic. I read
good thing that's what this series is going to be based off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not excited for that. And I like and then this shows them building the time machine, which I think is really cool. And I like the time travel explanation because it's referencing a bunch of different movies, like Back to the Future is mentioned, Hot Tub Time Machine for some reason. And I like their theory of time travel. I think they explain it incorrectly to what I think time travel will be if we ever get it, if it does ever exist. But I'm okay with it because they do explain how it works in this world.
They incorrectly bring up Bill and Ted, though, because that doesn't have the same kind of time travel logic that the other movies do.
No, I don't even. So the time travel in this, their theory is that if you go back in time and do something, it doesn't affect future because you still had to go back and do it. I'm okay with that, but the whole idea of the Infinity Stone, by moving the Infinity Stones, you would change because they are such a climactic part of the time stream that if you mess with those, that alters time then itself.
I took it as the director saying, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." I'm confusing this for real. Of course, and this is all audience surrogate stuff. Warhammer is going. He's like, "What about Back to the Future? This movie, that movie, this movie, that movie. Every movie that we've had flies in the face of this." And then Hulk, of course, is like, "No, that's all nonsense. Here's some mumbo jumbo. Is everyone confused? Good, audience, be confused because it doesn't matter. Let's just hand wave this, please. Don't make us explain this every 5 minutes." Which I think is actually good. Let's just set the expectation. It's not about the science of the time travel. Time travel occurred. Smart people.
You called him Warhammer again.
Did I again? Did I really?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did it. I keep saying Warhammer. I'm sorry, War Machine. I've been doing that for now a year and a half. This is just
it's like a running joke at this point.
Now I have to keep saying it. War Machine. I almost said it again. War Machine. He goes to that litany, and I just think this is the director saying, just move on. It's fine. This is meant to be fun. There's more to do here. This can't be 4 hours.
I like the Star Trek way. Like I've been watching a lot of Enterprise lately, and they deal a lot with time travel. And their whole idea, if you go back in time, you can still alter events like drastically. But as long as the events, in one episode, the guy goes back in time, changes World War II completely. But because they stop him from going back to the future, because they kill him, then it never happened, and everything resets itself.
Huh.
I like this got so focused on the logic of Back to the Future 1, but they talk about how you can't change it, which is, oh no, never mind. Cut all that out. I'm thinking backwards.
I can't help you.
I mean, yeah.
Back to the Future 2 is basically that. Sure.
Yeah.
Changed.
I've never seen that movie before.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. It's good. I like Back to the Future 2. Doesn't matter. Back to the Future 2.
Yeah,
it's no one, but come on.
And this is when you have the Barton test where Barton goes back in time. And this part is a little kind of hits a little because he goes back and he sees his he hears his family because he's back there, and he yells for his daughter, runs to the door, and then vanishes because he goes back into the future.
He brings a baseball glove with him.
Oh yeah, this is a touching scene too. Like he's doing the test. Although I do like before that when
Scott,
just a doof. Scott doesn't really belong there.
Hulk's trying to put the pin particles in his suit. He's like, "No, you're being all hulkish. Let me do it. We've only got enough for 2 tests. One test.
One test. It's so good.
I'm not ready for this."
Yeah, they screw up a little bit.
A little bit. They have a few errors.
That's how they got in this whole mess in the first place.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I do enjoy the briefing when they have the whole brief about how they're going to do this and what they have to do. I enjoyed that scene. To me, that's really cool. They talk about, okay, where are we going to go back? Okay, we have to go back to there's 3 stones in New York at this time. Except I don't understand what their goal, like how they expect to get the time of the stone. But I guess they thought they just talk to Stephen Strange and he just give it to him or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically. I think honestly, I think that was the idea. Let's just get Doctor Strange to hand it over.
We get more of Thor being long-winded because it's funny, I guess, about the reality stone.
Well, because they had to explain the movie, everybody forgot.
Yeah,
well.
we had to see a picture of Jane so she could appear in the end credits.
I mean, nobody remembered, and
How dare you call her by her character's name on this? Her name is Padme on this show.
I know.
One of the jokes that
I
I have. Okay, so since we recorded Thor: Dark World, I always make the joke how I completely forget that movie. I was talking to people. Every so often I bring up that movie just because, and people can't remember it either. It wasn't just us. People cannot remember that movie. It's just one of those movies that you just don't remember. So I think that was, to me, I laugh when they explained Thor: Dark World because I'm like, oh, of course nobody remembers that damn movie anyway. It's just completely forgettable. So they had to explain it.
It's just all the little side jokes that he squeezed in there. It's like someone called it a stone. It's more like a goo. I don't know who called it a stone, but it's not a stone. Like, okay, man, get on with it.
Yeah, and how we were dating at the time, and she was my girlfriend. Yeah, like, yeah, that was dumb.
Again, it's another one where Thor is Thor, I think, is a better comic character than a comedy character than he is like a serious character, but used properly.
Yeah, like the fish out of water stuff from the first movie.
It's phenomenal, right? And
yeah,
obviously he can't be a fish out of water forever because he's clearly in the water. But I think him retaining the core of his character, which is a, king of Asgard, right? Like turning him into doofus is just, I don't know. It just reads weird to me and reads weird to me. So, and I think I'm in the vast minority on this because people love comedy Thor. Like, this is what he should have been
forever. People love
Ragnarok.
I do.
Right.
Ragnarok's amazing.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, we've established this.
I know, but I have to make the joke when it comes up again.
It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, he goes through this whole thing. Does he refer to it as goop or goo?
It's like angry. Oh yeah.
Angry.
Yeah, I think if it was goop, I would have noticed.
I had subtitles on, but I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, neither do I. But so yeah, Cap gives the brainstorming speech. I love the moment when I think when it was Scott, he's like, "Ooh, like a planet," and Hulk goes, "Aw, he's like a little puppy dog."
Rocket.
Yeah.
You want to go to space, puppy? I'll take you.
That was
space.
That was
my
Rocket.
God.
So funny, so humiliating. I really enjoy that.
So this is when they go through the portal and then they split up in different teams. Where one team goes to New York 2012, this was funny to me. Like when you have Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, and Ant-Man go to New York 2012, to where Avengers movie happened, and then you see Hulk run by, and then Smart Hulk is like, he's like, go yell. He just hits a car and makes noise. Like, it's super funny to me.
Yeah, completely ineffectual and useless. Thanks, thanks, new Hulk. Thanks, Professor Hulk. I saw Hulk going. I saw Hulk walking by, and I'm like, hey, old Hulk, want to trade places? Come on, in this movie, probably a lot more fun than Professor Hulk. No. I do like. Did you like Cap's pump up speech? Man, at the end, I think it was Rocket says he's really good at that. I love his pump up speech. Cap knows how to pump up the team. He's the leader.
And then this is when Hulk goes to get the time stone. That scene I think is interesting, where he runs into the Ancient One and she just knocks him out of his body like she did to Doctor Strange. And she's like, "Why would I give you the stone?" I like that.
I love that she just implies that she knows everything. It's like, I'm looking for Stephen Strange. She's like, yeah, you're about 5 years too early. He's doing surgery about 20 blocks that way. It's like she knows that he's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
Because she could see, in Doctor Strange, they talk about she could see timeline all until the point where she dies.
Oh, yeah.
So she could always knew the flow of time.
Yeah, and I like how she knocks Bruce out of Hulk.
Yeah.
That's actually really good.
I feel like that's the only reason they did this whole Professor Hulk thing is so they can do that little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is the second time you're talking about when you see Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, this is the only other time you see Mark Ruffalo. No. Well, no, he's still Professor Hulk at the funeral at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, this is it.
dumb.
I'm just wondering if he's going to be Professor Hulk in the She-Hulk show when that comes out.
Huh. If he's in it.
He's in it. He's in the cast.
Oh.
So that's one of my, but that's neither here nor there right now.
There's so many shows. I gotta catch up.
Yes. I like the whole time stone thing. I like how he talks to her and convinces her by saying, "Well, Strange gave Thanos the stone," and she's like, "What?" And then
Yeah,
she finally
she refers to it as their primo weapon against the darkness, and it's like, well, why did he give it away?
Because he had to.
He had to. And then it snaps to her like, "Oh, he must have had a really good reason. He must have had a reason that I'm not seeing. So I'm just gonna trust him," and surrenders her stone.
I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty great. It's a really good moment.
And then you go to Asgard 2013. I like the fact that they do a good job of saying where you're at, the time that you're at throughout this to, cue with the different movies so you know what's happening.
Yep.
And I think this is a really good part when Thor, and I didn't catch it, but there's an Easter egg. Someone mentioned that when you see Thor talking to Rocket, there's a beer can he put down next to wherever they're standing. So he brought a beer with him in back in time. So I thought that, and then Rocket's like, okay, I'm gonna go zap her, and then he's like, I'm gonna go. They got some liquor down here. I'm gonna go get some beer.
Yeah, after Rocket's whole pump up speech, kind of like, gotta get over it. Come on, we gotta do it. And then he runs off after he sees his mom, and
it's like,
he's like,
crying? No. Yes, I'm crying.
Fine, I'll just extract the goop myself. Great.
So one of my questions about this part, because the way the next part of the movie goes, it jumps around back and forth. But we'll just link on one part, talk about that, and go on to the next part. There's no point in jumping as much as this does. First, I want to talk about the whole thing with like Thor. Like, okay, so Thor: Dark World, as I've said numerous times on the show, not a good movie, forgettable. But I love the interaction with his mother in this part where he's just like, she's like, "I'm a witch. I know you're not the Thor." Like, I want to be like, of course you know it's not your Thor. The Thor you just saw 5 minutes ago was fit and in shape, and this guy is not fitting in shape. Like, it's not.
He's got heterochromia all of a sudden.
Yeah, like it's not like you can't be like the same person. Like, it just doesn't. Somebody's gonna realize something's wrong here. Maybe not from the future, but they're gonna know something's wrong.
Right.
But when he talks to her and he's like, "Mom," she's like, "Don't tell me what's gonna happen. You can't tell me. Like, it's fine." Like, I just love their interaction. But my real question is, I'm wondering if the scenes that we see of Padme are actual like stuff that was filmed for Thor: Dark World, or did she come back to shoot new scenes? Because if I remember at the time, she wanted nothing to do with them anymore.
Huh.
I don't know, but I could see it being like a standing because you never see her up close, or do you?
One scene on the bed, I think.
I don't even. Oh, you're right. Yeah, she's walking, and then Rocket goes behind her with the goop extractor, and does his thing. I don't know.
I was right. It's old footage from Thor: Dark World.
Interesting. Okay.
Because from what I remember, she was just done. I don't remember she didn't like Thor: Dark World or what it was, but she didn't want to come back. That's why she's not in Ragnarok. That's why she wasn't Age of Ultron. She didn't want. She was. I forget why, but she was just done. And the only reason she came back in the new Thor movie that she's going to be in because I think they told her she could be Thor. So
yeah, pretty much.
Hey, please come back. We'll give you a weapon that does something. It's cool. I guess I don't know if she wields the hammer.
Should.
All right. But yeah, it's pretty tender and touching when because he knows what's going to happen, and and his mom, like you said, she's like, I can't know. So let events unfold as they do.
She tells him that he's here to fix his future, not hers.
Mm-hmm. Which all seemed pretty convenient. Right? I don't remember her having the power of like that kind of power of clairvoyance, or unless she's just intuitive. Unless she kind of just figured it out, like, obviously it's not the same Thor she talked to 5 minutes ago, but does she know what happened? Does she?
We don't really have anything to base it on. She had so little screen time in the first Thor 1 and 2.
She has a line where she says, I can see more than my eyes will do or something. And I'm like, wait, can she see timelines and such? I mean, she's an Asgardian, so maybe. But anyway, it didn't really matter. It was more about the emotional moment between Thor and his ma.
She has more agency in this one scene than Odin did in all 3 of those movies.
You are right about that. Wow. Yeah.
And there also is one little scene here where you have Loki. You see Loki in his cell just to show this is where Loki's at. Like, it doesn't need to be there, but it's just there.
Yeah.
But another thing about this that I did like, if Thor gets the hammer, he calls Mjolnir, and it comes to him.
Yeah.
Or meow meow.
I like that he's really surprised that he's still worthy of it after all he's been through the last 5 years.
Love it.
I think
love it.
That helps him too. And I did laugh when Rocky comes around. Like, I got it. And he's being chased by a bunch of guards.
Uh-huh.
That was funny.
Oh, you must be Mom.
And and then they teleport back. Then they hit their things and go back. Because I think that's all they do is here, just get that one stone.
Yeah, because they're starting to go. Rocket's counting down, and then he calls Mjolnir, and then they go.
Okay. I like the fact that he gets the hammer. I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't the hammer affect that he doesn't have the hammer in that movie? But I guess
Cap brings it back with him when he takes the stones back.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, because that's right. He brings it back. That's right. Yep.
And then one of the other things that's going on is you also have so Rhodey, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Nebula go to Morag in 2014, which is what takes place in Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're kind of doing their thing. But they both split up into two different teams, where Rhodey and Nebula go to get the Power Stone that Star-Lord got in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Scarlett Johansson and Barton take the ship and then go to where
Red Face.
Yes, Red Skull is at on Vormir to go get the Soul Stone.
Vormir, yeah.
And it's so I laughed at this part at the part with the Power Stone, like because it starts playing the song from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. You see Star-Lord dancing, and War Machine's like, is he an idiot?
So he's an idiot. Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
I love that scene. That scene is still like that is one of the best scenes in the MCU. It's just him dancing in that beginning part. I don't know why, but it's so good.
It sets tone and it establishes character, and it's fun. I remember Guardians came out, if I'm not mistaken. This is so long ago. We saw this. It came around a time where we needed something fun. We needed a fun adventure movie, and it did deliver on that, of course. But no, this is great. Yeah, I get to see this again. I get to listen to that song again. All good things, of course. They knock him out. Oh,
it was just funny.
Yeah, War Machine just knocks him out. Boom. They go in and they snag the stone. I love when she goes to grab it, like her skin melts off her hand. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes. Not fun. But she don't care.
It doesn't really matter, I guess, to her. So she just pulls out the stone.
Yeah. She just pulls out the stone, and she's got all Terminator hand, all the little gizmos and whatnot in her gizmo whatnot skeleton. And
I like she says to Rhodey, I wasn't always like this, and he says neither was I, because he's got those leg braces on now.
Right. But we
connection.
Yeah, but he goes, but we deal with what we got or work with what we got, you know. Yeah, good stuff.
It gets a little dark though at this point. Like this leads to all their problems in the second half of in the end of the movie. If she just would have hit that thing 1 second faster, it would have been okay. Yep,
but because she doesn't because
stone.
Go for it.
They're going back to the future. Rhodey's like, okay, on 3 we hit the thing. 3, 2, 1. He hits the thing to activate the pin particles. She cannot because she gets like hit. Does she break it?
No,
she gets accessed, right? She gets accessed by Thanos, because before that we see new Thanos. I couldn't really say it was new or old. I guess it's old.
I say young.
2014.
Okay, 24. Yeah, that works. 2014 Thanos, who's still searching for the first stone, and somehow old 2014 Nebula, her eyes spit out a message like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know. So, and of course that kind of gives them pause. Of course, Gamora's there. It's cool to see her again. It's always nice to see Gamora. And then they kind of realize something is afoot. So of course they hook up poor Nebula to her hanging chains of doom. Yeah. And they play the message and realize that they kind of just put 2 and 2 together.
Well, the recording or the message is Nebula. Present Nebula, I guess we'll go with, is saying that they're not the only ones in 2014 looking for the stone, so they kind of hint right away that they're traveling through time.
Yep. So they realize, okay, let's hatch a plot we have to get new Nebula, and we need to disguise old as her by replacing a head plate. And that's going to be their plan to basically lead Thanos to all 6 stones. Like, hey, lead me to all of them. That's cool.
And she gets caught because after she does that, she realizes instead of teleporting to the future, she runs to the ship to contact Barton, and they tractor beam up the ship, and that's where they catch her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which,
whereas if she would just teleport it away, she would have been fine.
Yeah, because he doesn't know where Vormir is, or not Vormir, but he doesn't know where the Soul Stone is, so he wouldn't have been able to go there anyway. So Barton and them would have been safe, because as soon as they get it, they would have just went back to the future anyway. She could have just gotten the hell out of there, but I guess it does make sense, plus the movie had the movie.
Basically, yeah. Like I said, if she had just hit that button 1 second earlier, none of this, everything would have been pretty smooth.
Yeah, because this is the only reason why. So then Thanos takes young Nebula and replaces it with old Nebula and sends young Nebula back in time, or back to the future. God, we're going to say it a lot in this movie. And it's one of those things where it's like, I like the fact when Thanos sees that he did succeed and he did get all the stone, he's like, this is when he really has like a god complex thing really happens to him, where he's like, yes, I deserve this. I already did it, so it's destined to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I consider time as it's like a river, I guess. So yeah, okay.
Yeah,
whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway. Time just keeps flowing.
But this is actually a pretty good little subversion. That's how Thanos is now going to kind of get the stones. And again, like I said, they're all going to bring them to him, basically. They're all gathering him up in these different time warps. It's a little far-fetched that he kind of like puts this all together, but he does, which is great. I do want to go... Oh, go ahead.
Mall again.
Yeah, yes we do. Very nice.
I think it does lead to great scenes, and at least this way you get the big Thanos conflict that you've been waiting for, is because of, and you also get the most powerful Thanos. You get Thanos from 2014, which is a Thanos that's not relying on the gauntlet, where the Thanos that we had in Infinity War is relying on the gauntlet to take out everybody. So much different version of him that we're getting in this movie, which is cool. We're getting the comic character without the the god weapon, which I like the fact they did that in this movie.
Yep. Indeed. But let's go back to New York, because we haven't talked about the Cap versus Cap fight. We haven't talked about their shady plot to get the Tesseract.
So it's kind of like the Tesseract plot is so stupid. Like the Mind Stone thing is a good idea. So they go back to when Loki has been captured and beaten by the Avengers, and you can see the background, that little scene where they're all standing above him, and which is humorous. And it also shows like why Loki is wearing the muzzle in the Avengers movie, because he turns in the Cap to make a joke, so Thor shoves the muzzle in his mouth. So I mean that made sense, but it was very interesting. Like the whole, like they see the Scepter come, you see Hydra come, and I really like seeing Brock Rummel, Crossbones, and Stillwell, and all these other people from who are Hydra agents come to get the staff. And like, we'll take that. And that, to me, that really hit me this time. I'm like, this is so cool that they did this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it.
It's great. It's a cool little treat for those who've seen everything and kind of like, oh, that's that guy. He knows they're Hydra. There's no trickery involved. Yeah.
We got to make the joke when Hulk tries to go in the elevator and they tell Hulk to take the stairs. He punches the elevator.
That elevator scene, I think it was just it was a reference to,
Throwback?
It was an opportunity to get Cap to say Hell Hydra, because when that happened in the comics, the internet kind of exploded.
Yeah, that was Nick Spencer's comic book run.
Yeah.
That was hated and loved, I think. Or there was a lot of publicity when he did that.
Oh yeah.
And I just love the scene in the elevator. He gets in the elevator and they're like, and again, it's like reference to Winter Soldier, and look like they're ready to fight. You can see a guy start to put his safety off his gun, and then he's like, "Hail Hydra!" And they give him the staff, and he walks out.
It's like, yeah, because he couldn't have possibly known they were Hydra, so he must be on the up and up.
Mm-hmm. It was so cool though. Like it
really good.
And this is, I think, at the same time. Did Loki escape at the same time?
Yeah, where Tony flicks Ant-Man into the case, and he goes up to past Tony to give him a cardiac arrest so they can steal the Tesseract.
But instead they just give it to Loki.
Oh yeah, because the Hulk comes out of the stair door and knocks President Tony over and sends the cube sailing across the room.
Pretty good. Good.
Not my favorite scene.
It gets a little confusing. I got a little confused in kind of what was happening, and I was trying to take notes, so I think that was part of my problem. I was getting a little confused, but I like that, and since guys won't say much about some of these things, But it's a pretty it's cool. You know, it's Loki takes it.
Yeah, so he ends up getting it, and then he teleports off, which then leads to a different show that we're not going to talk about. But it's so they lose the stone. They're like, well, shit, we got to get what we. And then this is when Captain America from 2012 confronts Captain America from 2023, and they fight. And I like that scene a lot
because past Cap thinks that it's Loki in disguise because they had just seen him do it.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's
But
a
he wouldn't
logical
have the shield.
explanation to drive. I just love that when he's fighting him and in 2012 Cap is beating him, and then you have the scene where he's choking him out, and he's like, "Bucky's still alive." He lets him go.
Like that past Cap says, "I could do this all day." He's like, "Yeah, I know. Damn it,
I know."
This is a great scene. I really like. I also think it's great that they keep the his what I don't know what you call that headpiece. It's not a helmet. You keep the 2014 or 2012 Cap still has the head thing on, and new Cap does not. So you can easily tell who's who and what's what, and who's winning and who's losing. And at the end of that, of course, new Cap says Peggy is still alive, which
Bucky.
Oh, Bucky rather. Sorry,
he sees the Peggy picture.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, and so Bucky's still alive, which stuns him just enough for new Cap to get the upper hand.
And then he uses the Mind Stone on him, though.
Yeah.
So freeze
that's
him.
right.
I felt that he also did it to reset his memory, so he wouldn't realize what he just said.
Gotcha.
But one part in this part that made me get really excited is they got Robert Redford back for a very small scene where he comes up to take the Tesseract from them.
Oh, yep.
I really like that because again, it's Winter Soldier, and I'm one of the best Marvel movies. I got so happy when I saw that. I was like,
we will do our rankings at some point, but
next
I concur.
Two more episodes of this stuff, and we'll do it. But it was so cool to see Robert Redford back. Like I was so glad they got him just for that small scene to come up and dress and do the character again one more time, just for that little bit to link them all together.
He's still a douche.
It was really good. And this is when they end up going with Ant-Man. They give him the staff, and they talk about how they have to go get the Tesseract, but they also need more Pym particles. Otherwise, it's a one-way trip for whoever goes. Somebody's stuck in time. So their plan is then they go back to 1970 New Jersey because Iron Man knows that the Tesseract and the Pym particles are both going to be at the same place at the same time. They can go get them. I like this. I forgot completely about this part. After they lost the Tesseract, I'm like, I remember watching this movie. I was like, I don't remember how they get the Tesseract back. Like, I had no recollection of what was going to happen. I could not remember for the life of me where this movie was going to go. I'm like, I completely forgot about New Jersey in the 1970s. Completely forgot the scene.
It's a fine scene. I think it's just there so Tony could have some closure with his dad before he eats it at the end.
Yeah, which is good. Again, I do like the interactions between him and his dad. I think it's well done. It's well paced. There's just enough humor in there to keep it light, but there's definitely a lot of weight. It's good. I think it's a really solid scene. And of course, Captain America gets to see Peggy, which is, of course, a huge deal for him. Everybody gets a little something in this, which is, again, scenes are best when they're doing more than one thing, right? It's not just moving plot forward. It's also developing character and doing things like that. And this whole sequence is very, very good at that.
We see
your super.
Oh yeah, there is that.
Him driving in the car.
It's fine. It's not a great one for his last cameo, but no, it's fine. We see super de-aged Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. Like crap.
It didn't look on that. I didn't get uncanny valley though when I saw him, but it's also very brief.
It was good. He was close up too. I thought it looked really good. It was great.
Is this the movie that we see the original Ant-Man helmet sitting on the desk?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't.
I smiled.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice.
I got a big smile.
It's ugly.
That's the original Ant-Man. That's the original Ant-Man helmet, though. Ugly as hell.
Not as bad as Daredevil's original costume, but it's up there.
Oh, you mean the yellow one?
Yeah, yellow and like maroon, basically like the Shocker, I guess.
The Shocker.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. You're not wrong.
Anyway, my favorite thing I read online once is the Daredevil's original costume is proof that he's blind. It's just so hideous.
Pretty good.
That is kind of funny.
Pretty good.
It's good. Like and like how they have the scene in the elevator, and you have a very well known actress. I can't remember her name at this point.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Who's in there, who sees them and goes, I don't recognize these guys.
Yeah, I don't recognize the actor, but she's one of those you recognize. We missed the Stan Lee cameo.
I mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, Mike mentioned that. So
I wasn't paying attention. Move on. Thank you.
I said it wasn't great for his last one.
Oh, that's what you're referring to. Okay.
And
sorry.
when and then I like how Captain America calls calls Hank Pym and tells him like, oh, these people are in danger. They open some box or something, and then he runs to that way. He goes steals the particles.
Yeah.
My one question about this part is when you have Tony goes in and he gets the Tesseract and he's in a room he shouldn't be in with a briefcase, and his father comes in and doesn't question like what this confused guy is doing in here. That's like, oh, I got a little lost. Yeah, like you're in a room with classified things. Like maybe be a little more wondering like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
This bunker they go into, is it the same one from Winter Soldier where they go down and see Zola on the screen?
Yes, I think you're right. Even though because that was New Jersey.
Yeah, because that would explain how Cap knows about it since he's been there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I bet you're right. I can't. It's been a while since I watched Winter Soldier. I purposely have not rewatched any Marvel movie since we started this thing. I purposely will not go back and rewatch any of them until this is over with.
Of course not.
I can't.
Why would you?
Well, I want to. They're great background movies for when I edit or play Pikmin 2. But I need to wait until I finish it because I don't want to alter my perception of these movies. But that's neither here nor there. But yes, I bet it's the same thing from there, which would make sense. I didn't think about that when we watched this, but that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So thank you, Mike. I appreciate that comment.
Yeah.
That makes that part make more sense. I thought he was like, okay, but yeah, because he already went there once, so he knows. It's just a good scene.
And even Howard, when he comes walking down the hallway where Tony is, he's calling out for Zola.
That's right. Yes, he's calling out for. Yeah, that's right. This whole scene's really great. Again, it's a really good sequence. I'm glad it's in here. It's just cool to see these characters interact with with their past, which is awesome.
It does a good job, and like him talking about when he's talking to his father, and like Bill said, he really does get that closure. Like they both get closure. Like Cap seeing Peggy, that's another really good scene. And I forget, there's an Easter egg of what she says, which you cannot be able, you can't hear it, but if you have subtitles on, the subtitles will show what they're talking about. But I forget what it was now, what she's saying. But it's a comic reference to something. Whoever's talking to her when she comes in.
All right.
I saw a thing that talked about, but now I can't remember what it was. I'm gonna look it up really fast. But yeah, there's some little Easter egg they just threw in just because. But yeah, I can't find it now. So
yeah, that's okay.
There's something there. There's some reference to something. So go watch the movie with subtitles if you don't know what I'm talking about.
There you go. The Peggy scene.
It wasn't important. I can tell you that much. And then they leave. They get out of the building and they leave. They go back to the future.
And their heist is pretty straightforward. Like they just walked in, got the stuff, and left. Question though, since he stole Pym particles, will he have to bring those back?
Or just sometime in the past, Hank just thought he lost Pym particles.
I guess the most important scientific advance of his life, but I just thought that, like, is he gonna return those like he does everything else?
No, I don't think so.
How could you?
You can have him make more. He's there.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And you also have, which during the same time, you have young Nebula replaces old Nebula and goes back to the future also. And then one last thing we haven't talked about for this whole time travel part, we haven't talked about Vormir 2014.
Your favorite part?
Worst part of the entire movie. Worst part of the entire MCU, I think.
Oh, wow. Really? Worse than Hulk going cross country in 2 days, or whatever it was? Worse than that.
Just because
so
they see Red Skull, which I love the fact that Red Skull came back in Infinity War and Endgame. Like I love the fact that they found a way to work him back in. I would have rather have him been Robert Redford and Winter Soldier, but I'm okay with where they bring it. Like I'm okay with it. But it is such a this is the hardest part for me because as I've said on this show many times and on this podcast many times, I love Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow in these movies. And the fact when they get to the Soul Stone, we already know that somebody has to die in order to get the Soul Stone. They don't know it. They find out, and then their solution is Black Widow and Hawkeye fight to see who's going to make it and who's going to bite the bullet. And Hawkeye sucks and can't beat her and ends up surviving like an asshole.
They're both willing to sacrifice themselves.
Yeah. I like the idea of them fighting each other for the right to die. It's pretty good.
I mean, her whole reasoning, well, I don't have a family and Hawkeye has a family, but Hawkeye's a mass murderer who should be in prison and locked away at the raft. So maybe you should just let the killer die.
They can't. She's not going to let that happen.
Well, I mean,
they're both heroes.
She was too back in the day.
Sure, she has a past.
Yeah, but she's hot, and she should.
Well, I mean,
I just love Scarlett Johansson, but
I know
it just bothers me. I mean, it's not. It makes sense. The movie makes sense. I just don't like seeing her fall. Nor did I appreciate the jokes all the time on the internet around this time when people like, I want to see Black Widow on Disney Plus. People are like, if you want to see Black Widow fall on Disney Plus, just go on this scene.
You want to see Black Widow drop.
Yeah.
Pull up Endgame. Go to this time.
Yeah, that's okay. Pretty great. I wrote down, then they fight, then they dangle, then she dies. That was my order of operations. Yeah. And it was pretty grisly too. And they of course they show her at the bottom to make sure you're aware, like just like Gamora. And there's obviously some reiteration that they're doing there.
They want to make sure she's not
coming back. She's gone, and she's got some blood, some splish on the bottom. I was like, oh boy, okay, very nice. And Hawkeye, of course, is just beside himself. They have a lot of history, the two of them. So this made a lot of sense. Yes, thematically and for character.
They also make a reference again at some point during this part about Budapest too.
Yeah, when they're on the way here.
Yeah,
on the spaceship.
They make
I always thought we would get that in a movie or a show or something, but I'm pretty sure we're never getting that now. So, pretty sure.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
We're never gonna see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow ever again. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're 2 days off of her and the Disney dispute. So.
Yeah, she's coming back after this crap. Yeah, by the time you heard this, it might be farther along because we're recording this in July.
I don't know. People said, "Oh, that stuff about James Gunn never coming back," and then he is. So who knows?
James Gunn didn't sue.
I don't know. I don't get the reference
to Scarlett Johansson.
No, but the dispute. I don't know.
Yeah, she's suing. We'll talk about it. I mean, she's suing Disney because part of her royalty, she was supposed to get X amount of money from Black Widow premiering in theaters as part of her contract, and because it went in Disney Plus, she doesn't get. It does worse in theaters, which negates her contract, and they didn't change it to work in giving her some of the money from Disney Plus.
Oh, that's crappy.
So they're essentially screwing her over.
Yeah.
And they're acting, and then they're trying to, as it's been 2 days since this happened, they've been trying to throw out, oh, well, we gave her $20 million. She's just being, rich. Oh, eat the rich. Like, you're the rich, Disney. Like, it's,
wow.
They're trying to, they're doing some kind of shady shit already. Like, it's
all right. Well, we can talk about Black Widow another day, not on this particular podcast.
I can't wait.
But yeah, I have thoughts.
Me too. So she dies, and then they come back, and then Hawkeye has the stone, and then they go back to the future, and they all pop in about the same time, except there's no Black, and they're like, "Where's Nat?" And this is such a I get so sad in the scene. I was like, "Where is Nat? You're right," but it's still so good. And then you have them on the pier talking, and you just have how they're just trying to deal with what just happened to her. The fact that they got all the stone, but they lost her in the process.
And Hulk gets angry for all of 3 seconds when he throws the bench into the lake.
Yeah, he shows a little bit of emotion. That's the end of that.
And then this is when they put the stones in the gauntlet. And I like how Iron Man builds the gauntlet. I think that's kind of cool. Especially one that can alter. Like, it can change, and whoever's, it can change shape or whoever's wearing it.
Like when they're putting the stones into it, Rocky just goes, boom! Such an ass.
And this is the same part where Thor wants to use the gauntlet. And he's like, I'm lightning. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I still think that he would have been okay using it. Like, I feel like he's powerful enough that it wouldn't have hurt him. I mean, hurt him, but not killed him.
He starts to break down too during this. He's like, just let me do something good.
Once. Yeah, that's a powerful line. Yeah, very powerful line.
Oh, this is why they had Professor Hulk, because normal Hulk wouldn't have done this.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have been the one to offer to snap. So they had to give him some kind of agency in his head.
You're probably right. That probably played a part in why we have Smart Hulk, because he had to use the gauntlet, and he's the only one that could do it. And then at the same time, you have young Nebula hijacks the time machine because they're not paying attention to her, and then brings Thanos in from 2014 in his giant ship with all his army intact.
Yeah, I like that it comes out of the machine and just flies straight up through the roof.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but I'll take it. And what part that I don't get how they didn't notice that something just blew up their roof, and they're just like, do. And then this is when Hulk snaps, and I guess because he makes a reference to this later where he tried to bring back Black Widow also when he snaps, but of course it didn't work. But he tries to. I do have an issue with the scene. So after he snaps, they have the cool scene where he hears birds chirping. All of a sudden, there's birds that weren't there before.
Love it.
Yeah.
But then Laura calls Hawkeye. It's irritated me. So Laura is Hawkeye's wife. Where was her cell phone? Why is her cell phone still active? Why didn't Sprint cut their cell phone off when they disappeared? How did she have all of a sudden spawn back and go, oh, hey, look, my cell phone's right where I left it 5 years ago?
Maybe she had a Nokia. 100 battery life.
Yeah,
100
I
years.
think. Well, here, I guess the battery life thing is. I guess that's the thing. Maybe she had it plugged in. Maybe it was plugged in for 5 years. It's. I think it's great. I think it's such a beautiful little. There's two. Again, they have 2 beats that shows it worked. Again, it's Scott looking at the birds. Like, guys, I think we did it. And then him getting a phone call from his wife. Because imagine if you were like zapped into oblivion and then you came back. I don't know. First thing I would do is call my wife. Hey, where are you, hon? You all right? Are you here? I think Peter Parker mentions, though, towards the end, how the experience of being dusted, where it's like he felt weird and then he just came back. Like there was no time at all for him.
He's like, I think I passed out because I woke up and you were gone.
Right. So it's very, I think it's very tender, and it's just a really good, it's kind of like halfway-ish through the movie, maybe a little more.
Maybe her phone was on her when she got dusted, and then it came back with her, so it was in the same state she was.
There you go. Okay. Cool.
I'll take it if the plan wouldn't work. But I mean, nitpicky, I know. But it was a cute scene.
It makes for a very touching scene, for sure.
Yes.
Especially for Clint, who hasn't talked to them in 5 years. Like, everything he's done has been for them, and just getting that call had to have been major.
Yeah, he gets pretty torn up. And then the Avengers headquarters gets bombed.
Boy, does it. I don't know how any of them survive this shit.
How do any of them survive? Like, none of them should be breathing after the decimation of their entire headquarters.
Scott, specifically, he's right by that window and it just shatters and he goes flying through the air.
I thought he was dead.
I thought
he was dead.
Yeah.
In that scene, if you pause it or look very closely, he shrinks as it happens. So he shrinks so he doesn't get the blast. That's how he survives.
Maybe he sees the blast coming and he's able to quickly. I agree with you. Even if you're teeny tiny, I don't know that you're not gonna survive that. I mean, half of them shouldn't. Like, do you really think, like, why is Rocket still alive? And why is War Machine still alive?
But his armor is broken. Oh, and that scene with Hulk holding up the building, that's a reference to Secret Wars. It's a famous cover of a Secret Wars issue where Hulk is holding up a giant mountain above them. That's what that
one
was
good arm now. Because of course he snapped, so the gauntlet did all kinds of damage to his arm, so he's even less strength now than he was.
And he's smart Hulk, so he's weaker too.
Yeah.
just diluted. He's diluted. Not fun. But
I kind of wish that during the big fight coming up here, they would have just let Professor Hulk slip out back to real Hulk.
No, I agree. Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Like, maybe he's getting pummeled by Thanos and, oh my god, how did I forget this? There was something else I wanted to talk about. In Infinity War, Hulk refused to come out because he was scared of Thanos. Like, he never gets to redeem himself. Like, he loses Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War. Bruce tries to summon him twice and he just won't come out. And then it's just never resolved. He's just Professor Hulk in this. Oh,
that's an excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does kind of suck. Yeah. Again, we reiterate, it's just not my favorite part of this movie. I wish if you want to talk show somebody in control of their personalities, show him in control. Like, he can turn on Hulk, he can turn on Banner. They're both living inside of him. Like, the mixing is just, you're getting a diluted product, and it's not great.
And during the same time, you have Thanos just comes out and sits down in the debris and waits for Nebula to go bring him the gauntlet.
Love this.
Go bring me the stones. She's like, well, what do you do? I'll wait.
Love this so much. So he's thanks. Good job. Well, hey,
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Really, the chores again. Please give me a timeout if I don't. Yeah, but I love him just waiting. I love his character so much. I love Thanos. He is such an interesting, just embodiment of morality and steadfast bad execution of good ideas. You know what I mean? Like he's just, yeah, he's not an evil mustache twirler. He's resigned in his duty, and it's really cool. Just he's like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. And his thinking probably is they're gonna come to me. They're clearly looking for me. Mm-hmm. So I'll just let them look for me. I'm not going to chase them around this rubble. I'll just sit here. It's comfy. I got myself a rock. This is great.
It also kind of fits like his personality at this time because he's so, really has a godlike complex at this point because of the fact that he's like, I won already, so I'm going to win again because I already won. Not understanding that time is changing. And the events that led to him winning aren't the same.
Right. He even says, this is my destiny, at the very end. He feels, he's like, I'm destined to do this work. So it'll shake itself out the way it shakes itself out. And yeah.
And this is when the trio confronts Thanos, is how I put it. And Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, the original three, go after him. And I really like this scene. I think the whole fight scene with them three is really, really good, and they get their ass handed to them.
Well, even before that, he kind of monologuing to him, like, he basically thanks them for opening his eyes that reducing half the population isn't going to fix it because everyone else will still remember what was. So he's going to basically rewrite the universe this time.
Which is even scarier. We know what happens there, and he's going to rebuild it, and with, like you said, they're not going to remember what happened or what was. He's actually surprised that people still hold on to the past. Not realizing the humanity of people is that what we do as humans is we hold on to things. We remember and we care about things that happened and people we've lost and all that sort of thing. So in his morality, he even says, why are you not grateful? You should be grateful that I was able to kind of do a purge here. But again, he said, I can't. It's almost like I can't believe you guys are still holding on to this. But you know what? Clearly, the idea was wrong. I should just eradicate everyone.
Which is what he does. What he's going to do next.
Yeah, and I like when I like Thor comes out dual wielding weapons of mass destruction in power. He's got Stormbreaker and the hammer. Just dual wielding was pretty fun for me. It's like, that's great.
And it's during the scene when he's fighting him where he hits him with Stormbringer. And he uses the other Mjolnir, the hammer, to push down Stormbringer into him even more.
And is this the second fight of the whole movie so far? Like the first fight, I think, was Captain America fighting himself. Was there anything else? I'm trying to remember.
You get Hawkeye and Black Widow, I guess.
Oh yeah, so Hawkeye. That's the third.
Yeah, there's not much.
We're about 2.25 hours into this. This is the first superhero fighting supervillain scene we've had.
And they've been saving it because,
they get it all out.
Here we go.
Easily the best scene in the entire MCU is this whole 20-minute fight.
As I labeled it, the big ass fight. Yeah, this is we're getting there. But
there's during this, when they're fighting, this is when he knocks out Iron Man, he knocks out Thor, Thanos does, and then Captain America picks up Mjolnir, which is such a great scene when you see him holding the hammer and he has a shield in one hand and the hammer in the other, and he goes to Thanos and he beats him down at first pretty good before things take a turn for the worse. But it's really cool. It's such, and this is also when Thanos ends up breaking the shield too with his weapon.
Oh, that was really scary. I was
what the hell's that thing made out of?
Yeah, seriously, right? I thought Cap shield was made of the hardest material in the universe.
Vibranium.
Yeah, vibranium. So I don't know what
space metal.
But again, the weapon wasn't made on Earth, so maybe there's other materials that are stronger they don't know about because they're talking about what's the strongest thing on Earth.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all I took. Well, even though vibranium is not from Earth, but hey, whatever. And during this is when you also have Hawkeye running with the gauntlet in the sewers, being chased by the monsters that were also in Infinity War. And he ends up seeing Nebula. He gives Nebula the gauntlet before he realizes it's not the right Nebula.
It's like, hey, I know you. Here you go.
This is a cool scene too when Gamora and new Nebula come out and have that little standoff with 2014, and kind of dispatches her pretty quickly. He just blows her away. Come on.
I like that they get rid of her.
When we get that scene between past Gamora and current Nebula saying what happens to us, like we become friends, we become sisters. That's all either of them ever wanted.
Yeah.
So it was enough to convince Gamora to fight against him.
I mean, she was already on that edge anyway. Like, she was looking to betray him, as we saw, in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Right. Yep. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good scene.
So it makes sense. Like, I can buy that.
Yeah. And just when things just feel like just when things begin to really look like it's doomed.
Yeah, it's Cap versus an army.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I didn't catch this my first viewing, but it's because of the internet. So as you have Thanos' army just arrives, like everybody from the ship starts beaming down, and Cap ends up, like, he has a cut on his arm, and he tightens the shield, he uses a tourniquet for his arm, and he's ready to fight Thanos and everybody by himself to the death, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't expect anybody to come. I mean, I think at this point, they're not sure what happened with they're not thinking about the gauntlet, they're just thinking that we have to stop what's going on. And it is such a powerful scene when all of a sudden you hear, Falcon starts talking to Cap. The first thing you hear, and I can't remember, he says, "On your left," or what he said. He starts talking to him.
He's asking if he could read him, and then he says, "Sam, on your left," and then you see the portal in the background open up.
Yep.
It is so good when everybody comes in, and the first people to come in are Black Panther comes in first.
Yeah.
Oh God, is this? I remember when I saw the scene in theaters. I want to say people cheered.
The entire audience erupted in spontaneous applause. It was great.
People cheered when Cap picked up Mjolnir, and then this. Oh man,
this is just great. What an amazing cathartic scene! Like, here it is. Here's the battle. We're probably gonna win. Like, right? This feels so good. Yeah. So Black Panther and the Wakandans come in. Not the whole army yet, because that's till the army hasn't come in yet.
No.
Falcon comes in, Strange and the Guardians, and of course Spider-Man, which everyone makes real good. And then,
basically everyone that was grouped together at the end of Infinity War and they got dusted all come in together.
Yeah, basically, you're right. And then of course all the armies show up, which is helpful because we need a bunch of good bros to help. Kaiju Ant-Man. It's just come on. Like, how much more awesome can you do?
Well, they even kind of lampshade that because Strange is like, "Is this everyone?" Wong's like, "What, you wanted more?"
Wong is so good. Is he getting his own thing at some point?
He'll probably be in Doctor Strange.
I assume so. Oh yeah, of course. I
think he's in Shang-Chi. I think I heard.
Okay. I want more Wong.
Yeah,
he's
Wong's
awesome.
great.
Yep, he's great. So now we have our big ass fight, which is just
it's where to even start.
It's just so what I wrote down notes like little things I thought were cool. I didn't like beat by beat because I wanted to enjoy it and just kind of soak it in. This is just climax after climax. That's all this is. It's all this movie from here on out basically is. Well, except for the funeral. That's not.
Oh,
but this battle is just insane.
We skip it starts off with
it's such a I love the Avengers Assemble thing.
Yeah. Because everybody's an Avenger. We're all an Avenger. It's just, in the audience, we're Avengers. So good.
Again, everyone cheered because, he finally says the thing.
Well, the only reason he didn't say it in Age of Ultron because of Joss Whedon.
Yeah, they refused to record him saying it.
So dumb.
Well, they wanted to save it for something special, and I would say this qualifies.
I don't know if Whedon saved it for something special or Whedon just didn't want it in his movie.
I don't know.
I don't think Whedon's not a good person, so there's that.
Well, yeah, there's that, but it worked out because it hits so much harder here.
Yep. Yeah, but I forgot this was the first time he ever says that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And then, again, I just wrote down little moments I enjoyed. I didn't, obviously beat for beat this because I want to soak it in. I like Pepper. Everyone gets kind of moments to reconnect in the midst of this madness. Pepper and Iron Man are kind of fighting back to back. I like when Iron Man and Spidey get together.
Oh yeah, because Pepper's in her rescue armor.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Yep. Which is good. What's her character name? Is it Rescue?
Rescue.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I assume we'll never see her again in another MCU movie.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Because
I'm okay with that.
Tony won't be back, so.
Are we sure about that?
Probably.
I hope not. I hope they're done with him. Yeah. Because I don't need to see him anymore in movies.
Yeah. He started off the whole thing, so I see why they latched onto him so much, but yeah, by the end of it, it's kind of burnout.
Yeah, no.
This is such a good fight scene, too. Just them fighting. I think it's like a 20-30 minute scene of them just fighting.
Yeah, it's up there. And it's just like callback after callback because they're trying to get the stones to the van to get them taken back to the past so Thanos can't use them.
Okay, so that is their plan.
Yeah. So Cap's like, can you get to the van, get him back, Scott? And Wasp is like, we'll read you, Cap, or she calls him Cap. After making fun of Scott for calling him that and Ant-Man the Wasp. We see Spidey use instant kill mode.
And they end up...
I love the instant kill mode. Yeah. I like the instant... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying again, it's just callback after callback. I love it.
I like the instant kill mode because he's like, I got it. I got it. I don't got it. I don't got it. And he asks for help. I love, again, one of the things I love about Spider-Man is that he is clearly inexperienced. And he's young and he's a go-getter, but he's not... he's not Thor. He's not Iron Man or Captain, but he's going to grow into this role and be formidable. And I just love it. He's like, I got this. I got this. I don't.
Steve calls them Queens, which is a callback to Civil War.
It's good.
He throws Mjolnir and Spidey webs onto it as it flies by.
Yep. I like when Doctor Strange stops a waterfall because you got to give him something to do.
Yeah, because they had to take him out of the fight. More or less.
Oh. He also doesn't have the time stone either, which I like too. When he shows up,
right?
I thought that was cool. And then when Tony first sees Peter, he hugs Peter. You're like, this is nice.
So sweet.
Well, because he tells him in Homecoming, he's like, "I'm just getting the door. We're not there yet." But now they are.
And then you also have Quill sees young Gamora, and he gets kicked in the dick.
Very funny. This is very.
You missed
very
it
funny.
on the first time, but on the second time, you got both.
Oh god, it's so funny.
It's really good
because he thinks it's his Gamora, but it's Gamora who hasn't met him yet.
She's like, really, this guy? Nebula's like, it was him or a tree.
Very funny moment.
I love that. I think that's when you start to realize like this isn't his Gamora.
I really like that. There's I do like and then of course my new favorite. I think she might be my new favorite.
She's up there.
Scarlet Witch appears. Oh, she's so good. She's just so angry and just and where does this fall in like WandaVision? Is WandaVision after all this?
Yes.
Okay. Because she breaks his sword in half. The sword he was cutting Captain America's shield with. Just so overpowered. Just so it's amazing. She's awesome.
That's why they get rid of her pretty quickly because she is so one of the most powerful characters.
They do a good job showing it here too, because she's like, you took everything from me. And he's like, I don't even know who you are. You will. And it proceeds to beat the hell out of him with just her magic. She like lifts him up in the air and he can't do anything. He has to rain down the cannons to take her out.
Yeah, she's the
Scarlet Witch. She's the Scarlet Witch. Man, I love that character. I can't wait to see more things.
Ebony Maw's like, what about our army? And he's like,
save me.
That guy.
He doesn't care.
Nope. That's it. So he starts raining fire on it. And then, of course, Captain Marvel goes God mode.
Oh, my God. Yeah, because they're like, it's just panning over the battlefield as all the heroes are getting pelted with these shots, and then they just stop. Like, the cannons turn, start shooting into space, and Tony's like, Friday, what are they shooting at? She says something's entered the atmosphere. Oh, my God.
It's so good when she shows up, too.
I labeled this as the Mike Albertin cheat code. Like someone in the movie just popped in Game Genie and just destroyed the entire ship.
Oh yeah,
man.
She flies through it twice and it's just done. And even then, it's just like, what the hell? What is this?
Because he's never seen her before, and this one we got our Ladies of Marvel moment.
Love it.
It's excellent. That's excellent. What did this get flack back in the day, which was 2 years ago? Like, were people?
I think this is in response to Flack. Is everyone's kind of like shitting on female characters, and like I said, Black Panther, we got kind of a diet version of a few of the female fighters together, but this is everyone.
Yep, and they all get a thing to do.
I
and
like this girl power scene though.
Go for it, yeah.
Lot.
Oh yeah, because she lands in front of Peter, who's got the gauntlet now. Because it goes from Hawkeye to Black Panther, who gets caught by Ebony Maw, who throws it to Peter, and now he's giving it to Carol. He's like, I don't know how you're going to get through all that. And they're like, she's got help. And it's her and Scarlet Witch and Jesus Christ, everyone. It's Gamora, Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Even Wasp stops helping Ant-Man to come in.
Yeah,
pose.
And Valkyrie's got her horse too in this scene, or this whole
Mhm.
part. Which I don't know where else she got the horse from that she's supposed to have, but hey, she got the horse. So
I think I just remember from a couple of years ago when this came out, there was a segment of the population who just felt this was very pandering, like almost forced in, and my reaction to that is good.
It's
Yes.
pandering in the best
Yes,
way.
of course it is, and it's great. It's required. Yes, we should be. This is long overdue, and it's wonderful, right? It's just a great and they basically get the best of Thanos, really.
yeah, and then you also have Carol fighting Thanos, and I like how when she's fighting him, I think does he already have the gauntlet at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, he
She's trying to
kind of.
pull up his hand.
What the hell?
Okay,
happens?
and then he has to take out the Power Stone in order to beat her.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because he goes to use it, and she grabs onto the gauntlet, and he's like pulling at it, and she's not budging, and he headbutts her, and she just tanks it. Oh my god,
Yeah,
she's so badass.
great.
Yeah, like so he has to take out the Power Stone and punch her with it to knock her away.
But then he goes to and I think this is when Tony. When does he look over at Strange? And Strange kind of gives him this look that basically says, "You're gonna have to do this."
Yeah. Well, because he asked him at the start of the fight, he's like, "You saw
Right.
14 whatever million combinations. Is this it?" And he's like, "If I tell you, it won't happen." I think it's here. The heel looks over, and he just kind of holds up the one finger.
Yeah, and that's basically it. So he steals the stones. Okay, you don't know he steals the stone. He gets Thanos gets his gauntlet back. Snap. Nothing happens.
Yeah, because Tony jumps on him.
Yeah.
I don't get how he took the stones out, but I guess
I
it's
don't
his
know either.
gauntlet, so.
I don't know either.
It's all his armor. This is all meshes together. When we see Tony go to use it, you can see the stones kind of like moving up the armor. Like he just kind of saps them away when he grabs it.
Which
Yep.
I can buy it because it's his armor.
Yeah.
I buy that too.
And right
And,
before Thanos snaps is when he says, "I am inedible," and then nothing happens. And then when Tony does it, then he says that, classic line from the first movie, "I am Iron Man," and he snaps.
Yeah.
Boom. The baddies
It's-
get dusted. It's a
cool scene.
Mhm.
Watching everyone go to dust and disappear.
And I love how bewildered Thanos is in all this. Like he looked like he was destined. Like he's looking around like I was destined to do this.
I just lost.
It's a pure, true defeat, and it's really just exactly the way he needs to go out. As I've said before, I truly think he truly thinks this is his destiny, because when he did the first snap, he could have gone too. He's a living creature. He had a 50-50
I
shot.
didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, he had a 50-50 shot when he did it. And I think that probably and it's never stated, but I think that plays into his character. I think he would accept, because even when he gets beheaded, I forget, he says something like, "Oh, he sees his own beheading." We didn't mention that. He watches a beheading, is like, "That's my destiny. That's destiny. That fine. I'm good with that." And so sad. And it's a great way to see this wonderful character out. It's great. It would have been cheating if he lost in a giant battle and got thrown into the cosmos or something. Nope, he's going to go out the way he expected to go out. And
The way he took out half the population of everything.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it's a fitting demise.
It's what he gets. Yeah.
And then after Tony snaps, you see Tony dying because his body couldn't handle the snap.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. He's a human,
Oh, yeah.
so I think he would have died pretty quick. But
And he looks more rough here than he does at the start of the movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's clearly barely clinging to life. And now all his pals show up, of course. So you get
Versus Peter.
versus Peter, of course. Well, first I think it was Brody. And
Oh,
he comes by like a soldier bud, and then of course Peter is just broken up, and then Pepper, of course, knows it's over, and boom, he fades. And that's
Well, she asked Friday and says the life signs are failing or fading, but she calls back to what she tells him earlier when he says he figured out time travel, he could fix everything, but he could also just not. He's throw it in the lake, go to bed. She's like, "Would you be able to rest?" And then now she tells him that he can finally rest.
Yep, it's a good bookend to the beginning of the film. It's sad, right? But I think it didn't catch me as hard as I think other characters would.
I wasn't sad.
Yeah, I know you were. But I didn't catch me as hard as the others. It was more of a fitting ending than a really emotional one.
It's been 22 movies since this had started, and Iron Man started. I mean, plus, because of I listened to all the stuff that goes on with contract negotiations, and you knew he was done. So it's a fitting end. Like I figured him and Cap and Thor weren't coming out of this movie alive just because of that.
I figured someone was dying.
Yeah. I mean, that was just an assumption. I think
I didn't expect Black Widow to die.
I didn't see that coming either. I wasn't sure who, but I do. Maybe it's also a byproduct of us watching these back to back to back relatively, right? Like quickly. I might be experiencing a little Iron Man burnout. Like, all right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I didn't hit as hard. I don't know, but it's definitely a well framed scene. The beats are all there. It's well handled by the Russo brothers. So
the first time I saw it hit hard. It hit like a truck.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it hit like a truck. Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
At this point, it's like, Tony's about to die.
Yeah. And again, it's going to happen. So
I think I was just all broken up because we lost Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. So I was like,
you were still in mourning. I think in the theater. I think in the theater. If you saw us in the theater, you were probably starting a chant like, "Let's go, ScoJo!" Right? Like when they were fighting, you
lost Black Widow and Hawkeye in the same movie because he's not my Hawkeye.
No, not at all. Age of Ultron, I like him.
Does he do anything in the final battle?
The first one to carry the gauntlet is pretty much.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Thank you. Yes.
You already had a whole movie of him, so they're like, "Yeah, we'll show other characters that we haven't seen in this movie."
I like Hawkeye.
And this is when you have Barton ends up taking the plane back and he sees his family. So, it's okay. He killed hundreds and hundreds of people. Like, it's okay.
Just before
Peter's at school. He sees Ned.
Ned! So happy to see Ned. Love Ned. Yeah, I like it. I don't know if you mentioned this, but it's a full school. It's real school. It's not like half school. I caught me like, this is normal school. I guarantee you it was not this, not a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. They kind of talk a little bit about how school was.
Okay.
If I remember right.
Yes, yeah, you do. Because Far From Home, the way I always put it, it's a John Hughes movie from the 1980s.
Well, yeah.
We'll see. I am cautiously looking forward to it.
I think you will like it.
Okay.
So we'll get there, but I think you will like it. It's not a bad movie.
Okay.
I had issues with it when I first saw it. I only seen it the one time.
Yep. We get Scott with the family. We get Black Panther with his mom and his sister. It's always cool to see his sister because his sister is awesome. Does his sister have a name, like a superhero name? Is it just Shuri? No, superhero.
Yeah, I think it's just Shuri.
Oh, it's just Shuri? Okay.
In the comics, she does become Black Panther at one point, so that might happen.
That's okay.
I don't know what they're up.
I know the actress, I think we talked about this before, the actress said that it wouldn't be right to do it without Boseman, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They've already got a sequel coming out, so they figured something out.
Yep. And then we have, of course, his Tony's voiceover of his recorded will throughout these little scenes. So again, just a very very touching moment that he recorded this before the time travel thing. Wasn't sure if he was coming back. He is not. And then we get our funeral. It's very sad.
So I have an issue or a joke about this funeral. So
a joke about the funeral.
There's one character in the funeral. When I first saw this movie, I'm like, who the hell is that?
He? Who is that person?
It's the kid from Iron Man 3.
What?
It's the potato rifle kid.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes, they brought the actor back to do the one scene. I'm just like, why?
Because no one cares about Iron Man 3. That's why. So that's the kid?
I'm sure everyone had that same reaction. It's like, who's this guy?
I wrote it down in my notes. Who is this guy? And I was going to look it up, but I figured I would just ask you guys on the show. It'd be more fun that way. Ew, okay. All right, well. Oh, I guess Tony Stark did have an impression on him, but...
Who's cold now, bitch?
Yeah. Yeah, your dad left later.
It was so stupid to me. Like when I saw that, I'm just like, why would you have this? He doesn't need to come back. Like
they didn't really have that big of a connection in 3.
No, it was just a kid that was there.
Just
he helped him with his PTSD though, because he told him to build something.
That's it. Build something. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Glad that guy got a day rate for.
I do like that we see the present Pepper gives Tony at the first Iron Man movie, the proof Tony Stark has a heart with the original arc reactor that he builds.
It's great. That's great.
Yeah, I like that. I like seeing that again.
Yep.
And the funeral was sad. Is it where's ScarJo's funeral? Where's Black Widow? Come on, guys.
Beyond that, scene. Like right after the scene, Clint's like, I wish I could let her know. And Scarlet Witch is like, she knows. They both know. And I'm like, You had a brother too. Do you remember that guy?
There's only
Kind of
one
got
movie.
cut down.
He's been gone a long time.
Mr.
sharing
Boner.
a moment there. That's a good point. Yeah, right. You did have a sibling that was killed pretty dramatically.
It's okay. She'll see him again.
Well, don't
Well.
even. Don't go there.
Oh no.
And this is when Thor ends up saying goodbye and he goes with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think if the whole crap hadn't happened with James Gunn, that Thor would have been in Guardians 3.
Probably.
I think that was the plan, because originally Guardians 3 was supposed to come out way earlier than when we're getting it, because they were working on it, but then they canceled it.
Is he not in Guardians 3?
I don't think so, because
should
in
be.
the Thor Love and
Yeah.
Thunder movie, the Guardians are in the movie, but supposedly only for a small part. So I think whatever was supposed to happen in Guardians 3 is now going to be in Thor Love and Thunder with Thor.
Well, that's strange. He belongs with the Guardians. Like this really
yeah,
does
no,
work.
it's
This
just
is
a-
his home. Yeah.
He's just a jokey asshole now, so yeah, he
Right.
needs to be there.
And
Yeah,
also, if I remember
that's for the
correctly,
off.
Thor Love and Thunder might have not been planned right away. I can't remember if it was planned, if I remember correctly, Thor Love and Thunder was after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so we would have saw Thor in Guardians, then we would have saw Thor again in Love and Thunder, but because of them being idiots, we're going to see Guardians in the beginning of Thor Love and Thunder. From the sound of it, only in a small part of it from what I've heard, and then with the articles that come out about it. So that's their way of tying up this end.
Huh.
I
I do like that you see Quill searching for Gamora because there's a deleted scene. I think it's after the fight where it shows her walking away because she doesn't know what else to do now.
Yeah, right.
She's not even from this time.
Nope. She got to figure some stuff out.
And then you also have at the same point, you have Cap, who goes back and who ends up he's the one that's going to go back and deliver the stones, and he has the hammer to go put everything back where it's supposed to be. And this is such a powerful scene. Like, he has only Bucky and Falcon are there because everybody else is gone, and I like how he tells Bucky, "Don't get in any trouble while I'm gone."
Yep.
Which is a reference to the first Captain America movie when Bucky says that to Cap,
Oh, right. Yep.
which I didn't know until the internet told me. I did not remember.
Don't do something stupid. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the scene when they count the 5 seconds, they go to bring him back, and he doesn't come back. They're like, "Where is he? Get him back. Where is he?" And then all of a sudden, Falcon sees a guy sitting on a bench nearby. I really love this scene. This is such a good scene.
It's a fitting end. Captain America deserves this. He has earned this more than any other character in this entire MCU. This might be my favorite ending of the MCU because I think it is so beautiful and touching. I really respect the Russo brothers for letting this scene happen. We're 3 hours in, right? Like, everyone should be tired. And by the way, this movie's paced so well.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the 3 hours. I really did not. They just still let Captain America have his moment. And I love the satisfied smile on his face. And even Falcon's like, "So you're gonna tell me about her?" He smiles and says, "Nope, no, I'm not. I don't think I'm going to." Oh, because it's just for him, and it's great. He's done so many things for other people that he has earned something just for him, and it's gorgeous.
Cap does the two-handed pat on Sam's hand. He sees the ring. You gonna tell me about her?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
After he gives him the shield.
Of course.
It's like Sam says that he's sad that he's going to live in a world without Captain America. He's like, "Oh, about that," and he hands him the shield.
I haven't seen Winter Soldier yet, so I mean, I saw the first episode of Winter Soldier, and it was fine. It was just fine.
It basically deals with this scene.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, where he gives
Saw the
him
first
shield,
episode.
and Falcon doesn't really feel like he's worthy of the shield.
Yeah.
Yep. So
We also see Nick Fury in the funeral. We mentioned
you do.
that.
Yeah, which was cool. We did not mention that. And Colby Smulders is there too, or
So we haven't seen them since
Infinity
Ultron?
War. End of it.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the
they
cameo Infinity War, but yeah, Ultron
Right.
was the last time they actually played a part.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see them in the next movie, though.
Yes, we will. Sort of.
All right, and
But-
that's basically it. And then it ends with Cap and Peggy dancing.
He
And
finally
yes.
gets his dance.
He finally gets his dance. Payoff of the year. Man, so good.
So was this kiss earned, Bill?
I mean, it could not be more earned. I mean, if it was any more earned, he would have built it like from raw materials. Like, that's how earned this thing is.
I also love that it's the very last scene of what, in my opinion, should be the Infinity Saga. Is just this last scene of them kissing, and that's the last scene
no.
you see.
This should have been the last movie.
Why isn't it? It makes no sense. It's not, and
only
that's
thing
gonna
I can
cloud
think
my
of
judgment. Yeah.
is rights, that they only have so long to
Do it
use
earlier.
Spider-Man.
Do it
'Cause-
earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah,
It
'cause
feels
when you-
like one of those things where you would see a list of names all etched in, and then someone puts a sticky note at the bottom of someone else's name. It's like Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah,
it's also
it's
part
just-
of this.
because it's considered the final movie of the Infinity Saga. But this should have been it. But since Peter Parker is dead after Infinity War, you can't make another movie that took place between them, so you have to do that. And I'm pretty sure it's a right thing where they only had they had to get these movies out quick, otherwise they would lose access to him.
Mhm.
Because I don't think after we get No Way Home, I don't think we're getting Spider-Man back. I think Sony's done with it with his deal.
That's so upsetting because he's so good and it's such a great take on the character.
Well,
but then again, we have multiverse, so
Yeah, as long as we're getting Spider-Verse movies, Sony can keep them. So
Spider-Verse. Yeah,
as far as I'm
exactly.
concerned.
Exactly. I'm with you on that one.
so that's what I think might be I don't know, but that's the only reason I can think that they had that movie that quickly and didn't have it before or wait a year and then start Phase 4. Like Black Widow should have been in Phase 3. This should have been before Endgame. Endgame finishes out the year, and then the following year, when you start Phase 4, you start with Spider-Man. That's how, in my opinion, how it should have been.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
'Cause-
But this is a fine ending. I like in the very end credits, everyone gets like a special little title card. You're featured, your regular cast, and then you're featured, featuring or with Nick Fury, with Samuel Jackson, with Robert Redford, because you gotta give those people more because they're more vital actors in the acting world. And then, of course, the main cast all gets their signatures on the movie. This is the end of the series. This is the end. This is the definitive end. It's so definitive end. And at the very, very end, because I went to the end credits and I knew there wasn't going to be an end credit. At the very, very end, after the final credit shows up, over the Marvel logo, you hear a ding, ding. And I'm assuming that's supposed to signify Iron Man building his first, Tony Stark building his first suit.
It is.
Yep. Okay. I got that right. And that's it.
Yeah, that's the
Endgame.
movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's great. It's really, really great. It's got a few, I think, glaring issues that it probably didn't hit me in the first time around, but
Like killing Black Widow? That's a glaring issue.
that's fine. She comes back. She comes back kinda in the Black Widow movie. I say kinda because I think she's half asleep in a lot of it, but that's fine.
Oh,
okay. She's a little drowsy. It's okay. Thank God her sisters. Thank God her sister's in it because her sister's wonderful and she steals the movie. Full stop.
We're talking about that soon. Next year.
She's a little drowsy. She's been doing this character for a while. She's a little checked out.
She's probably never doing the character again. So hey, it's done.
She's done. Yeah, and she can tell she's kind of done in this one. But anyway, we will talk about Black Widow another day.
Yes, but I think now it's time for Shelf Stacker Box.
Yes.
So
is anyone not putting it on the shelf?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course.
Oh, Bill, why don't you go first?
I'll go first. Yeah, this is on the shelf. Of course it is. This is the task of making this movie is not a enviable one, right? Because you have to wrap up 20 something odd movies and you have to close it well you have to tie up a bunch of plots. You have to, it's this movie is a mammoth undertaking. This movie is, and it succeeds in nearly every way. It's emotional. All the characters get time to really wrestle with their characters. The way it portrays the dusting aftermath is stunning and scary, as it should be. It ends on a glorious 20-minute battle scene, which again is just pop after pop. I mean, it is like it's phenomenal. I don't like Professor Hulk. I don't even think he's in the final battle.
He's there, but you don't see him very much.
Yeah, he's not engaged, and he's the Hulk. Like he's the central character of the MCU, and he's doing equations somewhere. Like he's not even involved in the battle. I don't like depressed Thor. I think they really treat him with a lot of, again, this is just an old-fashioned way of treating that kind of character. He does develop throughout, and he does redeem, but yeah, I didn't like that up front. Other than that, I think it's sensational. And yeah, sorry, Black Widow, you had to go. Sorry, you had to go. So this is indeed going on the shelf, and it's a wonderful end to the Infinity Saga. And looking forward to seeing the Coda, which is Far From Home. I guess that's like the special feature at the end of the saga. So, shelf.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
Should have had him when he snaps the gauntlet, Hulk. That it kind of like knocks the professor part out of him, then he could just be normal Hulk again.
The 50%. Like, he's
Like, yeah, then you get Professor Hulk to actually use the gauntlet, and then we still get normal Hulk afterwards. So best of both worlds.
That would have worked.
An absolute win, as he would say.
Yeah, wrestle with the duality by being two people. Like, don't mush, but whatever.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Bill kind of said it best. There's really not much more to add to that. It's the culmination of 11 years of movies, so it has to be the best one. It's not my favorite, but it's probably the best overall, other than those couple of things that we harped on most of this episode. But,
yeah, we do all that.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it's going on the shelf.
Okay. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I really enjoyed this movie. This is up there for me as one of the best ones. It's definitely the best Avengers film out of all four of them, for sure.
Okay.
For me.
For me. I will still defend Age of Ultron.
I do like
Age of Ultron is a good movie.
But this movie on its own is 5.5 hours long, so
Yeah.
of the three of them.
But I really enjoyed it. Other than I don't like what they did with Hawkeye, and I don't like the Scarlet, the kill off Black Widow. I really enjoyed the film. I watched it over the course of 2 days because I didn't have time to put a 3-hour movie in one night because I get off of work late and have to get up early as hell. So I unfortunately didn't watch this the way I wanted to, but I enjoyed it. I didn't want to stop watching it. I was really I enjoyed it, and it made me realize how excited I got when I saw this movie in theaters. It is such a good film. It's going on the shelf, and you should watch it again. Everybody should. And it's so good.
I think my biggest gripe about the whole Infinity Saga is they don't use the stones enough on their own. So, like, you have 6 stones that all do super awesome things, and you use them, 4 times total. And most of that's Infinity War, with Thanos just kind of screwing with people.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's me.
it would have been nice to see it more. But we'll get there. And this takes place in 2023. Endgame does the same year that WandaVision takes place, and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Far From Home take place in 2024. So just to put that out there.
Okay.
So WandaVision and Falcon happened before Far From Home that you'll be watching next time.
Okay, that's good to know. Cool. Good.
So yeah, that wraps this up, and I think we should. And as obviously we're going to be watching next time you hear from us, we'll be covering Spider-Man: Far From Home to finally wrap up this crazy idea that I had almost 2 years ago.
Wow, it's been a journey.
Mm-hmm. And then after we finish Spider-Man: Far From Home, there will be a recap episode where we talk about what we did and do our rankings. So
yep.
Look forward to that.
Indeed.
And then I will eventually do Phase 4, but at some point. I haven't decided yet exactly how we want to do that, but I do want to do it because I love these movies.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We got some time for that. Maybe a little decompress period.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little time to kind of this thing, and then maybe we hit it again. But hey, if we did Phase 4, we'd only be doing 2 or 3 movies a year. We wouldn't be doing 12.
If we don't wait to 2023, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If I wait, we'll be doing all. Well, there's 11 movies and 13 series in Phase 4.
God, there's that many series. Yeah, I keep forgetting about those series. Man,
and Phase 4 goes to 2023, I think, or 2024. Fantastic Four hasn't been announced when it's going to be out, but that's the last one of the wrap of Phase 4.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll talk
I will wait for your expert direction on that, sir.
But yeah, it's probably part of my plan is to do it next year, just do it here and there and get caught up, so that way we can do it shortly after it comes out, once it's on Disney Plus, and not do it all at once like what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not this insane. But yeah. So Bill, why don't you tell people where they can find you at?
Oh yeah, you can check out my podcast, which is called A Gamer Looks at 40. It's a retrospective of the history of games as told through the everyday people who lived it. My brother labeled it as the This American Life of Video Games. And while I've never listened to a single episode of that, I'm going to trust his judgment. So it's just stories and recollections. Both of these fine folk have been on the show already and will be in the future. As of this recording, we just released our SNES episode, which was a lot of fun. And we're just moving through the history of games. So Gamer Looks at 40 on Twitter to see all the things that I do on that. Ran out of steam on that plug. But that's the story.
Okay. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have tons of other MCU episodes you go listen to, so definitely go check that out. We covered every movie up to this point as part of the MCU, and we've done other films too. We covered games. That's the main part of the show. You can definitely go find all those episodes if you scroll through our library of stuff. We also cover comics. And if you want to help out the show for as little as $1, you can sign up for our Patreon, which you will see a link in the show notes. And you can go vote in our monthly polls that we have to decide. We always have one episode every month that we let the fans decide what we're going to cover. So definitely go check that out. And I want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, a.k.a. Mike Stoney from ZP Biteable. Song is the Cool Kid Squad. You can definitely go check him out. You'll see a link in the show note to his YouTube channel. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube. Just audio, but you can go find it there if you rather listen to our show on YouTube. So definitely go check that out. And please subscribe. Help us out. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Assemble!
Avengers, assemble!
Okay, go!